because I was absolutely flat broke. I had the crazy balls to sign up for a budget survival reality show. The challenge, survive on $500 for a whole month. In the end, whoever saves the most money wins $5 million. Most people's first instinct is to live off instant noodles and plain buns, or even skip down to just one meal a day to save cash. But to me, that's amateur hour. Isn't this just a contest of who can be the biggest cheapskate? When it comes to pinching pennies and working the system, I am the absolute grandmaster. On day one of the broadcast, I got up way before the sun was even up. Guided by memory, I walked out of the dorm building and headed over to the empty street for a jog, since I couldn't see the live chat comments. I had no idea the stream was already running. The viewers in the chat were all stressing out on my behalf, calling me an idiot. I figured they'd sleep all day to cut down on energy and meals. I didn't expect anyone to get up this early. It's not even light out yet. What's he doing? Wait, don't tell me he's going for a morning jog. That is so incredibly stupid. Shouldn't he be conserving his energy right now to avoid burning calories? Eat less, spend less, right? Ugh, I can't watch this. He's so dumb. They should have let me on the show instead. I could lie in bed for 48 hours without eating or spending a dime. What kind of time is it to be flexing discipline? It's not like he's a celebrity putting on an idol performance. This guy should be on a talent show. Letting him on this show is a total waste of an opportunity. I ran for about 10 minutes, and the viewers kept trashing me for about 10 minutes straight. Finally, I stopped right in front of a pharmacy. The moment I pulled a flyer out of my pocket, the viewers completely lost it. Printed in bold letters right on that flyer was, "Free eggs. Step 1 of saving money working the system." In my hands was a promotional flyer for this place called Siwan Pharmacy. The flyer stated no purchase necessary, open to absolutely everyone, limited to 3 items per person daily. You have to understand, these kinds of events are incredibly popular among the elderly crowd, so you have to show up early if you want to get any. That was the real reason behind my early rise and healthy jog. By 8:30 a.m., the sun was completely up, and the pharmacy opened its doors. A huge line of seniors had already formed behind me. The pharmacy clerk gave a strange look to the person standing at the very front, who happened to be the only young guy in the entire line. Shaking off the awkward look, the clerk pointed to the sign-up sheet on the table and spoke politely. "Just register your name and phone number here, and you can get your free eggs." Calmly taking the pen, I wrote down a phone number without a second thought. Then, clutching a pound of eggs, I happily headed back to the dorm. The chat comments flared up again. "Okay, my bad. I'll shut up now." Whoa. He didn't have to starve, and he didn't break any rules. This was a solid hustle. I'm actually starting to look forward to how this handsome guy is going to work the system next. Honestly, while this hustle is great, you really need a thick skin to pull it off. You have to withstand all those judgmental looks from people. If it were me, as a young person, I'd be way too embarrassed to do something like this. What's there to be embarrassed about? He didn't steal or rob anyone. Why should he feel ashamed? Is it because of your ridiculous pride that isn't even worth a pound of eggs? Can pride put food on the table? With this pound of free eggs, my meals for the next 2 days were pretty much taken care of. The kitchen in the dorm building was a communal area, meaning all the contestants had to cook here. The production crew had thoughtfully provided basic cookware and seasonings. All I needed to do was give things a quick wash, and I could enjoy a delicious egg breakfast. Just then, Manhwa, who happened to come downstairs, heard some noise in the kitchen and immediately snuck over. "Did you buy all those eggs?" She stared at the eggs frying in the pan, subconsciously swallowing her spit. Who could turn down waking up first thing in the morning to 2 delicious fried eggs? "Do you need me to help you out?" I gave a polite smile. "Oh, no thanks," as my words trailed off. The kitchen fell into a brief silence save for the sizzling sound of the frying eggs. Manhwa waited and waited, but the polite invitation she expected never came. She thought, "Aren't you going to offer me some?" I can't tell if Fu Yansheng is genuinely selfish, playing dumb, or just has zero social skills. With that many eggs, what's wrong with letting me have 2? He can't finish them all by himself anyway. He has absolutely no manners. If she had to go out and buy breakfast, besides instant noodles, she really couldn't think of anything budget-friendly. But since there was a chance for a free meal right here, she couldn't just give up so easily. Smiling, she tried to spark a conversation. "Those eggs look pretty good. You're eating pretty early. I just woke up and haven't eaten yet." If Fu Yansheng still didn't get such an obvious hint, then he was absolutely doing it on purpose because he didn't want to share. I slid the fried eggs onto a plate and spoke flatly. Then, stop standing there watching me. Go get your own food. I kinda wanna make some eggs too. It's cheap and practical. Unmoved, I put the remaining raw eggs back into the fridge labeled with my name. Oh, then go get some outside. Man, this guy is completely unshakable. Is it just me, or does this girl seem like she's trying to use him for free food? Haha, even I could tell she wanted to eat his eggs. How did he not catch on? Is it possible he did catch on and was just trying to spare her feelings in the end? Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't care about sparing 2 eggs, but right now, we're in a competition. Everyone has an equal shot, and this isn't a life or death situation. Why should I let Manhwa mooch off me and help her save money? Do I look like an idiot? Seeing me take my plate over to the dining table to sit down, Manhwa swallowed her pride and let out a long, heavy sigh. Wonder if they sell eggs by the piece at the market. I don't want to buy as many as you did. I'm afraid they'll go to waste if I can't finish them. So hot lately, they'll spoil easily. The way Manhwa put it. 7. He might as well have just said, just give me 2 of your eggs. He might as well have just looked me in the eye and asked for 2 eggs. I picked up a fried egg with my chopsticks. It was cooked to absolute perfection. Both sides were fried to a beautiful golden brown. One bite in, and it was crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. Watching this, Manhwa swallowed hard twice more. His stomach let out a pathetic, traitorous growl. I took my time finishing my bite before finally speaking. Spoil, there's a fridge here. Why don't you go look around nearby first? If you really want to buy just 2 eggs and can't find any, I suppose I could sell you 2 when you get back. Manhwa thought he had misheard. He repeated it back in utter disbelief. I just wanted to freeload a single meal from him. Is he really that petty? He actually insists on selling me these 2 eggs. Yep, you didn't mishear. Manhwa's expression nearly crumbled. Fu Yansheng is a fellow guest on this show after all. They still have to see each other for the next month. It's just 2 eggs. You're seriously going to charge me for them? A flash of feigned innocence crossed my eyes. A grown adult has the nerve to freeload. So why should I feel embarrassed about taking his money? Manhwa's face completely darkened at this. Who said anything about freeloading? I'll go buy them myself. After Manhwa left, I quickly finished up my breakfast. I washed my plate clean, then turned and headed upstairs to start figuring out my next meal. As the saying goes, a man who does not think of the future will soon have trouble at his door. Just because I have a pound of eggs doesn't mean I can stop looking for other options. By lunchtime, the netizens finally got to see the other 2 guests, Ji Mingchuan and Enlan. Both of them started their day at noon, making them 2 meals a day kind of people. Skipping breakfast saved them a whole meal's expense. Having similar meal times gave the 2 of them common ground. They went to a nearby convenience store together and bought a whole box of instant ramen wholesale. Then they split it half and half. The price was right and the quantity wasn't so overwhelming that it would go to waste. Plus, they could switch up flavors quickly once they were done, while the 2 returned to the dorm to prep their instant noodles. Manhwa wasn't sitting idle either. Taking advantage of my absence, he started chatting them up, leaving out the context. That Fu Yansheng is incredibly stingy. Today, he actually told me he wanted to sell me 2 eggs. If you ask me, he's just doing it to win. He wants to make money off of us. You guys better watch out around him. Don't let him play you. Just as Manhwa finished speaking, Ji Mingchuan suddenly spotted a figure standing near the kitchen door. Manhwa followed Ji Mingchuan's gaze, instantly flinching out of sheer guilt. Ji Mingchuan looked at me, taking the initiative to break the awkward silence. Do you need to use the kitchen? No need. I'm eating out. Looking at Ji Mingchuan's slender frame, and then noticing the instant noodles in his hands, my scarce dormant conscience twinged slightly, prompting me to ask an extra question. Want to come along? Anyway, I'm freeloading off someone else. It's not like they're freeloading off me. I didn't mind bringing them along for a free meal, because in the days to come, there's no telling how many meals we'll have to starve through. Might as well get a good free meal while we can. No thanks. You're so good at business. If we eat with you, we might end up wasting a bunch of money. I gave him so many hints this morning, just waiting for him to say this, but he just wouldn't. Now he finally says it, it's too late. Besides, who knows if he got some new inspiration from the morning's egg-selling incident. He's probably brewing up some scheme, trying to find a twisted way to trick us out of our money. 94. Only then did I cast a sidelong glance at Manhwa. Only then did I finally glance at Manhwa for the first time. Acting completely puzzled, I looked left, right, front, and back. I wasn't even talking to you. Whose question are you answering? This sequence of movements from me instantly put Meng Wei in a humiliating spot. Even Ji Mingchuan and Enlan could barely hold back. Nearly bursting into laughter at my words and actions, Meng Wei's face instantly turned sullen. Ha ha ha, Fu Yansheng really knows how to deal with a passive-aggressive hypocrite. Why is that guy trying to frame Fu Yansheng like he's isolating everyone? Why doesn't he mention that he wanted to freeload someone else's eggs? What a green tea bitch, his ego completely shattered. He just can't handle it. Does Fu Yansheng have another way to score a free meal? I'm actually looking forward to this. Ji Mingchuan turned to exchange a glance with Enlan beside him. He then withdrew his gaze, tore open the packet of instant noodles in his hands, and gave an awkward smile. Our lunch is already prepared, so we won't be joining you. Go ahead. No matter what Fu Yansheng's character is really like, given our competitive relationship, it's always better to be safe than sorry. All right then. I nodded regretfully, said nothing more, and turned to leave. A smirk curled on Meng Wei's lips. He felt a surge of secret satisfaction as he watched my solitary back fade away after being rejected. 129, right after, he pulled back his gaze. Immediately after, he snapped his gaze back, sat down at the dining table, and watched Ji Mingchuan and Enlan make their instant noodles, as the rich, savory aroma of the seasoning and noodles slowly wafted up from the bowls. He swallowed his saliva. You guys are eating lunch pretty early. I haven't eaten yet. Those familiar words. Fu Yansheng really the one scheming and scamming people? Or is he the one doing it? Ramen bro and ramen sis, please don't fall for it. Learn from Fu Yansheng and reject him ruthlessly. Otherwise, once you give in the first time, there'll be a second. You two already have the least amount of funds. If he targets you, you're bound to lose. Meng Wei stared intently at the ramen bowls in front of them, casually swallowing his spit again. Ji Mingchuan frowned, feeling a bit at a loss as to whether he should invite him to eat. It's basically like I'm helping my competitor save money on a meal, but seeing how he looks right now, I actually feel a little embarrassed myself. Plus, the cameras are rolling and filming me. If I act too heartless, the netizens will definitely rip into me and say I'm just as stingy as Fu Yansheng. Truth is, whether I win the $5 million grand prize or not doesn't really matter to me, because my main goal here is to win the popularity award. Signing with Nanxing Entertainment to become an artist and having a bright future in showbiz is worth way more than $5 million for the popularity votes. And to avoid being bashed by netizens for being stingy, Ji Mingchuan took a pack of instant ramen out of his remaining half box, handed it over and said, "You haven't eaten yet, right? Why don't we have some together?" Thrilled that he finally managed to scrounge a free meal, Meng Wei beamed. "Oh, you shouldn't have." He then quickly reached out and snatched the pack of instant ramen. And Anne, who hadn't said a word the entire time, saw this, took her own cup noodles and nudged herself to the side, quietly putting some distance between herself, Ji Mingchuan, and Meng Wei. What on earth is instant ramen bro doing? Did he graduate from St. Mary's School of Altruism? Instant ramen bro, why don't you just hand over the $5 million prize to him directly? Ugh, watching this is making me so mad. Instant ramen bro is completely losing his mind. Well, that guy finally succeeded in freeloading a meal off another contestant. I think I'll go check out Fu Yansheng's stream instead. Go watch, quick. While the three of them are eating instant ramen in the dorm, Fu Yansheng is sitting in a restaurant enjoying a free feast. The gap between them is just way too massive. Inside a hot pot and BBQ restaurant, a promotional poster for a grand opening reads, "Guess 3 riddles correctly and eat for free." Meanwhile, I'm sitting inside the restaurant enjoying my free lunch. The poster states that there's a limit of 1 free meal per person. Excessive waste is not allowed, and there will be a fine for any leftovers. So, at the waiter's request, I registered my phone number and name before ordering a single portion. The netizens are incredibly curious about whether I can actually pull this off and get a free lunch, so they're all camping out in my live stream waiting for me to finish eating. But just as I finally finish and prepare to leave, the waiter walks up and says, "Your total comes to 13 yuan. Will that be mobile payment or cash?" See, I told you so. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Although 13 yuan for a meal is a great deal, the other contestants are eating instant ramen that only costs 1 yuan a pack. Oh, and Meng Wei didn't spend a single cent on lunch. So looking at it this way, Fu Yansheng's lunch actually counts as a loss. That's a mild lesson. I had a friend who joined a free event and ended up being scammed out of thousands. You really shouldn't try to take cheap advantages. I'm just curious. What exactly is this 13 yuan for? I look at the waiter in confusion. Didn't the sign say it's free if you get 3 riddles right? I passed the challenge, so why are you charging me? It's for the tea and tableware fees. This wasn't detailed on the promotional poster, so I wasn't aware. I fall silent for 2 seconds, then pull a 100 yuan bill from my pocket and hand it to the waiter. Only after the waiter gives me my change and prints the receipt do I get up and walk out of the store. However, once I reach the entrance, I don't leave right away. Instead, I take out my phone and dial a number. Hello, I'd like to report a business. Generally speaking, tableware should be provided by the restaurant free of charge. Charging for it without the consumer's consent is illegal. As for the tea fee, I didn't even order any tea. Isn't this blatant fraud? The netizens in the live stream can't hear what the person on the other end of the line is saying. They only see me stand in silence for a while, quietly listening to the other party finish questioning. I look down at the receipt in my hand. Yes, I have concrete evidence right here. The relevant authorities are incredibly efficient. In less than 5 minutes, as I stand by the entrance with my hands in my pockets, the restaurant owner personally invites me back inside. I sit down in the owner's office for the mediation process between both parties. The owner offers a tense, apologetic smile. Hello, I'm the owner of Fuxiuan Hot Pot and BBQ. My last name is Meng. After introducing himself, Mr. Meng sits across from me. Well, if there's anything you're unsatisfied with, you can just tell me directly. There's no need to take it this far, right? I'll give you a refund right now. But first, you'll need to hand over that receipt in your hand. With a calm expression, I pull the receipt from my pocket. But just as my hand extends forward, I pause for a split second and immediately pull it back. The owner flinches nervously at this sudden movement. I raise an eyebrow at him. You give me a refund, but then you'll just go right back to scamming the next person, won't you? Suppressing his inner irritation. Mr. Meng patiently explains, you can't put it like that. We aren't scamming anyone. Young man, you just don't understand. The entire industry operates like this nowadays. If you're still not satisfied, next time you come by, I'll give you another free meal. I guarantee I won't charge you a single cent. I remain completely unmoved. This isn't a question of a single free meal. Such a blatant hint. How could Mr. Meng, who has spent years navigating society, not understand what it means? A flash of mocking amusement instantly appears in his eyes, and he lays his cards on the table. Then, how do you want to resolve this? What kind of more practical compensation are you looking for? I repeat his words with deep meaning. More practical compensation. Then I stop talking, merely staring at Mr. Meng with a very profound look. Believing himself to be a sharp man who can take a hint, Mr. Meng immediately smiles and chimes in, how about 3 free meals? I stay silent. The sharp Mr. Meng figures, I'm still not satisfied. Seeing my hesitant, lingering expression, Mr. Meng grits his teeth. I'll give you 10 free meals. I freeze for a brief moment. That wasn't what I was trying to say at all. But hey, if this shady owner wants to hand over free perks on a silver platter, Boss Meng gritted his teeth and said, 10 free meals for you. I froze for a split second. That wasn't even what I was originally trying to say. But hey, if this shady boss wants to hand me free perks on a silver platter, who am I to refuse? If I refused, wouldn't that just break their heart? Especially my own heart. I mean, that's 10 whole free meals on the line. So, can I get a refund on the money I just spent? Of course, absolutely. A refund it is. And then, Boss Meng just stood there dazed for a good while. It took him a moment to finally catch my drift. He frowned deeply. He was grinding his teeth so hard they were about to shatter, but he still forced himself to maintain composure, squeezing out a stiff, cracking fake smile. Just how much more do you want in compensation? And with that, we started haggling over the matter. Whoa, hold on a second. Just a moment ago, I was about to say Fu Yansheng did a fantastic job. But listening to their conversation now, why does this feel a bit like a crook robbing a thief situation? Is there really any difference between what Fu Yansheng is doing and what a shady, unscrupulous boss would do? The two of them are practically cut from the same cloth. I'm getting a little disappointed in Fu Yansheng. At first, I actually thought he was fighting for justice. Come on, Fu Yansheng was the one who got ripped off first. Isn't it completely normal for him to use the exact same methods to get his money's worth back from the boss? True, that makes sense in theory, but the nature of the situation has completely changed now. He started off just defending his consumer rights. But if this keeps going, Fu Yansheng demands an exorbitant amount of compensation. It's going to cross the line into extortion. It's basically turning into a straight-up shakedown. Meanwhile, my free lunch incident. suddenly took the internet by storm, sparking a massive uproar. I've only just started my stream, yet my popularity has already skyrocketed to the very top among all the guests. However, Boss Meng still has absolutely no idea that every single thing he's doing is being broadcast live to the public through the hidden camera I'm wearing. Boss Meng might not know, but I certainly do. I definitely can't greedily demand a ridiculous sum, otherwise once it's broadcasted, every single word and action of mine will inevitably be magnified online. I'll be put under a microscope. I'll have all those self-proclaimed bloggers and professionals analyzing whether my behavior was legally compliant. That being said, letting this shady Boss Meng off too easy isn't an option either. I pondered the matter for a brief moment. To make it practical, just provide free tableware for the customers and do away with this ridiculous water service fee. As for my personal compensation, just pay me the standard amount required by law. Boss Meng's face fell into a troubled grimace. Not only did Boss Meng look distressed, but even those meddlesome netizens who were trying to stir up hate and attack me instantly felt like they had been smacked dead in the face. Thanks to those little haters, my positive public image instantly shot up by several levels. Those envious trolls completely failed to kick me while I was down. Instead, they handed me a massive wave of immeasurable popularity and positive publicity for absolutely free. On the surface, Boss Meng agreed to my terms, deciding to just humbug his way through and get rid of me first. He then compensated me 500 yuan in accordance with the relevant regulations, on top of the 10 free meals he had previously promised. After I left, the waiter standing to the side asked the boss if they were really going to cancel those service charges. Boss Meng leaned back against the sofa chair, staring gloomily at my departing figure as he snorted. Who does he think he is? Does he seriously think he's some kind of hero who can save the world? Trying to speak up for other consumers? How naive. Ignore him. Keep charging them as normal. A dozen seconds later, I suddenly remembered something and turned back toward Boss Meng's office. I pushed the office door open and popped my head inside. Boss Meng, who was in the middle of sipping his tea, casually looked up, only to see a head suddenly materialize right at his office doorway. He was scared so witless he nearly spat out his mouthful of tea. I flashed a warm, friendly smile. Oh, I forgot to remind you just now, I'm currently on a live stream. The righteous netizens across the whole internet will be keeping an eye on you. I hope you're a man of your word. With that, I beamed cheerfully and left for good. Meanwhile, in the president's office of Star Entertainment, Gu Nanji, sitting in the executive chair, turned his computer screen toward the person across from him. On the monitor, the variety show The Great Battle of Penny Pinching was streaming live. At this moment, it was showing the footage of me eating the free lunch. After a brief pause, he looked at the woman sitting opposite him, who was dressed in a noble, high-end black designer dress and exuded an air of pure elegance. Well, isn't this new show I invested in pretty interesting? Shen Yanning leaned back against her chair in a relaxed posture, her cool, aloof gaze resting on the boy on the screen for a long time. It's all right. Guanj curled his lips into a smirk, unable to hide the sheer delight on his face. I mean, what do you think of this young guy specifically? I think he's a perfect match for me, especially that drive he has, that carefree attitude where he doesn't give a damn about what others think, does whatever he wants, and refuses to ever take a loss. It suits my taste perfectly. Shen Yanning lifted her eyelids and shot him a glance. That look was somewhat freezing, giving Gu Nanji a sudden, sharp shiver. Shen Yanning lowered her eyelashes and went back to looking at me on the computer screen. Gu Nanji figured it must have just been his imagination. I wonder if he has a girlfriend? Well, even if he does, it doesn't matter. I can just wait for them to break up. For a guy this interesting, I wouldn't mind putting in some effort. Shen Yanning, who hadn't said a word this whole time, finally seemed unable to listen to his nonsense any longer. Whether he has a girlfriend or not, it would never be your turn. What kind of talk is that? I'm incredibly outstanding. How could he possibly not look my way? As Gu Nanji spoke, he suddenly paused, as if he had just realized something. Wait, how do you know? Don't tell me you have a secret crush on him. Or, are you actually his girlfriend? Just as the words left Gu Nanji's mouth, Shen Yanning's phone chimed twice, too bothered to deal with Gu Nanji. She pulled out her phone and glanced at the screen, which displayed 2 text messages. Shen Yanning entered her passcode and tapped them open. Dear valued member of Chiyuan Pharmacy, hello. During our anniversary celebration week, present your registered phone number to enjoy a 12% discount on all healthcare products store-wide. Welcome to Chiyuan Grand Pharmacy. Dear valued member, hello. during our store anniversary celebration this week. Simply present your mobile number to enjoy a 12% discount on all healthcare products store-wide. Hello, valued member of Siyuan Pharmacy. Next Wednesday, our branch will be hosting a renowned cardiovascular and cerebrovascular specialist from Shanghai for a health seminar. Simply bring your registered phone number to receive a professional health consultation. After the seminar, you can also claim a free pound of eggs. Shen Yining's brow furrowed slightly. When did she ever sign up for a membership at a pharmacy? The show has only been on the air for one morning, and I already occupy 4 trending spots. Some netizens are mocking me as the definition of a cheapskate. They say I'm not only an elite-level freeloader, but I even charged another guest on the show for just 2 eggs and squeezed 10 free meals out of a business owner. They claim my shamelessness is beyond ordinary comprehension, but other netizens are saying I'm genuinely authentic, bold in my actions, completely exposed a corrupt business, and that I'm just a straightforward, handsome guy. With everyone holding opposing views, the commentary is a mixed bag of praise and criticism, but that still didn't stop me from becoming a viral sensation. Plus, with all the official accounts reposting and liking it, the popularity of my live stream has been skyrocketing. At the same time, the issue of hidden fees in the restaurant industry was amplified by netizens and became a hot topic of discussion. This immediately caught the attention of the relevant authorities. 10 minutes ago, inside the 3-story dorm prepared by the crew, Meng Wei finished his lunch and sat leisurely on the sofa, scrolling through his phone, just thinking about how he managed to freeload instant noodles from another guest this afternoon, saving himself the cost of a lunch, made him feel an unstoppable wave of joy. It seems that besides Fu Yansheng, he couldn't stop feeling smug. It seems that besides Fu Yansheng, there really are other fools here. However, before the joyful smile could completely form on his face, it instantly froze. What? While we're stuck in the dorm eating instant noodles, Fu Yansheng is actually out eating barbecue. Not only that, he also got $500 and 10 free meal vouchers. Most importantly, I just rejected Fu Yansheng a moment ago. If I hadn't said no, I should be sitting in that restaurant eating barbecue right now, and a share of that $500 should have been mine. Meng Wei's filled with absolute regret, and the instant noodles in his stomach suddenly lost all flavor. Wait, why did this restaurant and the owner's silhouette look more and more familiar the more I look at them? Before he could carefully figure out exactly why they looked so familiar, the show's host, Zhao Lin, walked over to him with a stern expression. Meng Wei, a viewer reported you for breaking the rules. Come with me for a moment. Meng Wei looked up, completely bewildered. Breaking the rules? Our show is completely fair. Rest assured, we will absolutely not wrongfully accuse any guest. Just come with me first, and well verify the situation. Left with no choice, Meng Wei could only follow Zhao Lin into a room. There were cameras in the room too, making it easy for the viewers to see the truth. Zhao Lin didn't beat around the bush either, directly telling Meng Wei why he was reported. A viewer reported that you were treated to a meal by an acquaintance. Meng Wei understood instantly. The only thing he had freeloaded today was that bag of instant noodles just now. Meng Wei didn't panic, calmly explaining. The rule says acquaintance? I'm not close at all with that handsome guy named Ji. In fact, before today, we hadn't even met face to face. As for his name, I only found out about it from the staff. Before today, we hadn't even met face to face. As for his name, I only found out about it from the staff. So, we're definitely not acquaintances. At most, we're just guests on the same show. Besides, the production crew never said we couldn't eat food given by other guests. Furthermore, today is our first day meeting each other. That handsome guy was kind enough to offer me a bag of instant noodles. If I had rejected him, how awkward would that have been for him, especially with so many cameras broadcasting live? After hearing Meng Wei's explanation, Zhao Lin discussed it with the head director. The final verdict was that Meng Wei did not actually break the rules, because the crew indeed hadn't made a rule forbidding guests from sharing food, and the relationship between the guests really couldn't be considered close. Meng Wei was cleared of all charges. However, Meng Wei didn't leave the interrogation room right away. Having cleared his name, his confidence was back. He sat back in his chair and spoke up, looking somewhat dissatisfied. If a situation like mine can get reported, then I think there's someone else who should be reported too. Who do you want to report? I want to report Fu Yansheng. He's too much of a threat right now. Everyone else's money is constantly decreasing, but his money is only going up. Right at the start, he's already created a $500 gap, still completely unaware that I'd been reported. I had just returned to the dorm when I was led into the interrogation room by the staff. As I walked into the room, I saw Zhao Lin and Meng Wei. Someone reported you for breaking the rules. I tilted my head slightly. Guided by my intuition, I looked over at Meng Wei. Meng Wei locked eyes with me for less than 3 seconds, before instantly averting his gaze, looking incredibly guilty. How did I break the rules? The whistleblower said you obtained $500, got a free meal, and the owner even promised to treat you to 10 more meals. Why don't you explain yourself to everyone? I laid out the sequence of events cleanly and concisely. Freeing myself from that meal was a legitimate reward for participating in the restaurant's event. The $500 and the 10 meals are lawful compensation voluntarily given to me by the restaurant owner. First, the owner and I are not acquaintances. Second, I didn't provide any labor for the owner. How can that be considered breaking the rules? If anyone still doesn't believe it, you can roll the tape. If you find a single lie in anything I've said, you won't even need to say a word. I'll drop out of the show myself. My completely righteous and unyielding demeanor instantly caused Meng Wei's momentum to wither away. The host, Zhao Lin, and the head director, who was closely monitoring the situation, were both utterly stunned by what they heard. Holy crap! Fu Yansheng actually reported the shop owner to the authorities the moment the show started. He even got extra compensation out of it. This kid really knows how to play the game. He's absolutely perfect for our show. Well, if doing that isn't considered a violation, then we could all just go out, report businesses, and make a profit. But how is that any different from turning it into a job? From being a professional whistleblower? Then, what do you propose we do? If it's not against the rules, fine. But we should confiscate the $500 the restaurant owner gave him. And he shouldn't be allowed to eat those 10 free meals either. Starting right now, let's add a new rule. Any future situations like this will be deemed a violation. Not wanting to back down, I shot Meng Wei a sharp glare. Then, why don't you throw up that pack of instant ramen you mooched off the other guests? If you return it intact for the crew to confiscate, then I'll agree. Blank. As soon as the words left my mouth, I moved myself and my chair aside, putting some distance between me and Meng Wei. Go ahead, start your performance, I said, my voice dripping with disgust. No? Wait, is this guy out of his mind? Strictly speaking, this doesn't count as your profession. But since Fu Yansheng has already set this precedent, it wouldn't be fair if the production team stopped the rest of you from doing the same. So, if any of you can find a business to report and obtain legal compensation, you are free to do so as well. I only brought up reporting them just to screw with Fu Yansheng. It was just a random example. In reality, who could actually make a living doing this every single day? Wouldn't that just make enemies everywhere? With that, the matter was put to rest. Having failed to get his way, Meng Wei said nothing more, stood up, and stormed out of the interview room. I followed him out. Before heading upstairs, I glanced at Meng Wei sitting on the sofa. Real people win using their own abilities. Constantly playing petty tricks behind people's backs just makes me despise you. Furious at the sheer confidence radiating from me, Meng Wei practically jumped out of his seat. What the hell do you mean by that? Who are you calling a subhuman hack? Like I give a damn if you despise me. Who's playing petty tricks behind anyone's back? I'm just respecting the rules of the game. I let out a soft scoff and scoffed as I walked upstairs. Dismissed so easily, Meng Wei's face flushed bright red with rage. I'm not going to stoop to your level, he barked. I didn't feel like wasting any more breath on a petty argument, so I went upstairs to my room to take a nap. Once Meng Wei and I left, Zhao Lin and the head director sat down together to watch the playback of my lunch. Blank. Ha 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 ha. We don't even need to buy trending hashtags anymore. And thanks to Fu Yansheng's clever move, it really turned out great. Our show's reputation and prestige just shot through the roof. As the head director beamed with joy, he suddenly sensed that something was slightly off. But Zhao Lin, but what? But Zhao Lin, but what? He has left the other guests completely in the dust right now. If we don't properly handicap a contestant who's this overpowered, the show will lose all suspense and become totally boring to watch. You're right. How about we have the assistant director upgrade the rules of the game again? The head director glanced at Zhao Lin, a mischievous smirk spreading across his face. Back at the house, Meng Wei, who had been thoroughly infuriated by me, finally managed to calm his breathing. Suddenly, an important realization struck him. He walked up to the 3rd floor and knocked on Ji Mingchuan's door. Ji Mingchuan opened the door, offering a warm, generous smile. What's up? The production team isn't letting us bring our own toiletries, and they haven't provided any for us either. It looks like they're intentionally trying to make things difficult for us. But we can't get by without basic everyday essentials. Why don't we go out together and buy some of the absolute necessities? Sounds good. A calculating gleam flashed in Meng Wei's eyes.
I have an idea.
How about I buy the facial cleanser and you buy the toothpaste? Then we can just share them. It'll definitely last us a month. That way, both of us can save some money. Sure, let me go grab Lan, and we can all go together. The two went down to the second floor, and Lan was likely in the middle of a nap, taking quite a while to finally open the door. His face was completely drained of energy, looking totally exhausted. There was a hint of irritation written across his brow, looking very much like someone suffering from severe morning grogginess. Is something wrong? We're going out to buy toiletries. Want to come? And Lan's gaze drifted back and forth between Ji Mingchuan and Meng Wei. He immediately declined. No, thanks. You guys go ahead. And Lan shut the door. After a moment of thought, Meng Wei suggested, since he's not coming, why don't you go ask Fu Yansheng? The more people we have, the more we can vary what each person buys to pool our resources. There'll be more stuff to share and swap, which will save us a ton of cash. Ji Mingchuan turned around and headed back up to the third floor, knocking on my room door. When he knocked, I was just getting ready to head out. Blank. I opened the door, looked at Ji Mingchuan, and then glanced at Meng Wei standing right behind him, pursing my lips. Instinct told me that Meng Wei was definitely cooking up another shameless freeloading scheme. Ji Mingchuan smiled. Yansheng, let's go buy some daily essentials together. If the few of us buy different items, we can share and swap them around. That way, we can all save a good amount of money. Sharing resources is indeed a practical approach, but what if one day, because of the competition, some unpleasant friction arises between us? What happens then? Won't you just have to go out and buy your own anyway? I rejected the offer flatly. Let's just stick to buying our own things. Shh. What's the matter? Just because you have the most money right now, you're afraid we're going to take advantage of you? I can't speak for others, but when it comes to you, that's a very real possibility. After speaking, I shot a glance at Ji Mingchuan, serving as a subtle warning to him. As for whether Ji Mingchuan would heed it or not, that was none of my business. Regardless, my goodwill only extends to dropping a hint. Beyond that, I respect people's own decisions. Meng Wei gnashed his teeth in pure frustration. Ji Mingchuan was just about to open his mouth to try and persuade me further. Ji Mingchuan was just about to open his mouth to try and persuade me again. But before he could even speak, Meng Wei dragged him away. Forget it, it's his loss if he doesn't want to come with us. But we've been calling her until now and she's still not up. The other guest, Ji Mingchuan and Meng Wei, headed up to the second floor. They knocked on the door at the very end of the hallway. After a long pause, a weak, exhausted female voice drifted through the door. Who is it? And yet, the door remained tightly shut. Meng Wei frowned. It's me, Meng Wei. I came to grab you so we can go buy daily essentials together. A few seconds passed. The person inside replied, not going. Having been rejected yet again, Meng Wei. And Ji Mingchuan stood there in awkward silence for a moment. Hearing that voice, she sounds half dead. It literally feels like she has no will to live. Ji Mingchuan wanted to chime in and agree. But then he remembered his goal as a performer. It really gives off a completely lifeless vibe. Ji Mingchuan initially wanted to echo the sentiment, but remembering he was here to secure a job, he needed to watch his words and actions closely beforehand. It would be bad if anti-fans dug this up as dirt on him in the future. As luck would have it, the supermarket Ji Mingchuan and Meng Wei went to happened to be the exact same one I went to. The moment Meng Wei saw me, his face soured completely, as if I owed him a massive fortune. Ji Mingchuan, however, was a different story. He was absolutely thrilled inside, thinking this was the perfect opportunity to bring up exchanging daily essentials with me. Ji Mingchuan was the first to extend an invitation. Why don't we head over to the daily essentials section together? No thanks, I'm going to grab some afternoon tea first. Meng Wei's face twisted slightly with pure jealousy. Must be nice to have money now. Let's go. Let's not hold him back from his afternoon tea. He certainly wasn't counting on a stingy guy. Someone who'd charge you for even 2 eggs to treat him to afternoon tea anyway. Meng Wei and Ji Mingchuan headed over to the daily essentials section. Meanwhile, the netizens who had been fiercely bashing me for being stupid completely froze after witnessing my next move. Their brains instantly short-circuited. They watched as I marched forward with absolute purpose, calmly and unhurriedly walking over to the pastry section. Right in the middle of the pastry section, there was a white tray filled with free samples. I picked up a toothpick, snagged a few pieces of mini cake, and after eating them, immediately migrated to the fruit sample section. In the end, I didn't even spare the hot food sample section. Oh my god! I never in a million years imagined afternoon tea could be eaten like this. Fu Yansheng has truly opened my eyes. Wow, Fu Yansheng. On one hand, he's just a cheapskate freeloader. Low EQ, call it freeloading. High EQ, call it mastering the art of afternoon tea. Lesson learned. I wonder if Meng Wei and Ji Mingchuan will come over to eat later. Down in the daily essentials section, Meng Wei's so-called face-washing essential turned out to be a single bar of soap worth 2 yuan. Let's grab afternoon tea. Over in the daily essentials section, Meng Wei's idea of buying face-washing supplies was literally just a 2 yuan bar of soap. A 2 yuan bar of soap happens to be the cheapest soap in the entire supermarket. Ji Mingchuan stared in disbelief. I need actual facial cleanser to wash my face. Meng Wei tossed the soap into the shopping cart and tried to change his mind with a lecture. Why do you need facial cleanser? Look at our current financial situation. Besides, this soap can be used for both your face and your body. It even saves us from buying body wash. Think about how practical that is. Furthermore, if we buy facial cleanser right now, the netizens will definitely call us idiots. After all, we're on a budget survival show. Our goal is to save money, not win a beauty pageant. Ji Mingchuan reluctantly compromised, feeling a bit uncomfortable. But when it came to buying toothpaste, Meng Wei spent ages picking one out, eventually choosing a brand that cost over 30 yuan. Ji Mingchuan thought it was a bit too expensive. But Meng Wei argued, we need to get decent toothpaste. Otherwise, we're going to spend the next month live streaming with nasty yellow teeth. Ji Mingchuan was convinced yet again. Immediately after, Meng Wei flashed a sly grin. See, my soap covers body wash too, which saved us that expense. Since I got a 2-in-1 product, shouldn't you buy something else extra as well? That's the only way our trade will be fair. The more Ji Mingchuan thought about it, the more off it felt. But he was too polite to cause a scene. If you think it's unfair, how about I just buy my own bar of soap? We don't have to trade anymore. It's not like he couldn't afford a simple bar of soap himself. Meng Wei's smile instantly froze. What the? Since when did this guy become so hard to play? He quickly backpedaled. Hey, I was just talking nonsense. Just kidding, totally just kidding. Ji Mingchuan offered a faint smile, choosing not to press the matter any further. Otherwise, the netizens would start calling him as stingy as me. On the other side of the store, having eaten my fill, I leisurely strolled over to the daily essentials section. Coincidentally, I ran into Ji Mingchuan again. I ran into both Ji Mingchuan and Meng Wei. Ji Mingchuan and Meng Wei had already finished picking out their daily essentials. Now Ji Mingchuan was preparing to head over to the skincare section. Seeing me, Ji Mingchuan smiled and said, let's go buy skincare products together. That way, we can share them. Otherwise, the expenses are just too high. I know you have plenty of money, but given our current circumstances, we should save wherever we can. I don't use skincare products, so there's no need for us to share anything. Ji Mingchuan didn't push it any further. He simply thought to himself, Fu Yansheng really is a difficult person to get along with. I headed straight for the specific daily essentials section I wanted. Then, while browsing the products, I used my phone to search across several shopping apps. I compared the prices to see which platform offered the best deal before making a purchase. Ultimately, I placed an order on the app that offered the best value. Because I claimed a platform coupon, I instantly saved 10 yuan. Wow, Fu Yansheng is remarkably thrifty. He actually price matches just to buy basic stuff. Fu Yansheng is literally me. This is exactly how I look when I'm shopping normally. In the end, I walked out of the supermarket empty-handed because the app offered a delivery service. They delivered everything I bought right to the dormitory door. When night fell, I headed over to the Fuxiyuan Hot Pot and BBQ restaurant. When you have a free meal ticket, you'd better use it as fast as you can. He had everything I bought delivered straight to my dorm room door. That evening, I headed back to the Fuxiyuan Hot Pot and BBQ joint. Free meal tickets are meant to be used, so might as well cash them in now. If this drag on for too long, they might go bad. Then my meal ticket would completely go to waste. Except this time, right outside the Fuxiyuan Hot Pot and BBQ restaurant, I actually ran into Lan, Meng Wei, and Ji Mingchuan. Not surprised at all, I just gave them a quick nod as a brief greeting, and then headed straight inside to enjoy my free dinner. But things didn't go quite as smoothly for the other three, because the restaurant's promotional event was suddenly cancelled. Staring at the storefront, Meng Wei looked like she was about to have a total meltdown. Looking at the front of the restaurant, she felt like she was utterly breaking down. Wait, isn't this my dad's new place? To think she was standing right outside her own family's restaurant, hoping to score a free dinner, only to be stopped at the door by her own staff. What kind of ridiculous joke is this? And worst of all, Fu Yansheng was the one who reported this place in the first place. The 500 bucks and 10 free meals he got as compensation came straight out of my dad's pocket. Meanwhile, that punk is sitting inside her family's restaurant right this second, happily stuffing his face with delicious hot pot for free, while she has to stand outside, staring blankly at him through a massive glass window. The thought made Meng Wei's face turn incredibly sour. Everyone else figured Meng Wei was just upset because she missed out on the free BBQ, so they didn't pay it much mind. Ji Mingchuan spoke up, sounding a bit suspicious. What a coincidence. Why did the event end the exact moment Fu Yansheng finished his free meal? Ji Mingchuan was trying to imply that I had some kind of special connection with the restaurant owner, and that I was using it to cheat my way to a win. He didn't have the guts to say it out loud, but everyone present knew exactly what he was hinting at. Suddenly, Meng Wei, who always opposed me, spoke up. Yansheng has no connection to the owner of this place, and Lan raised an eyebrow, turning to look at Meng Wei, who was uncharacteristically clearing my name. Meng Wei, how do you know? This is her own family's restaurant. How could she not know whether there's a connection? She didn't clear my name out of the kindness of her heart. She just didn't want everyone paying too much attention to her family's business. Meng Wei scratched her brow. Knowing how cheap Fu Yansheng is, his daily life must be a real struggle. There's no way he could possibly know a restaurant owner. In the end, the waiter cleared up the confusion for them. I don't know what happened this afternoon, but a massive crowd of customers suddenly flooded in. Our boss couldn't handle it anymore. A massive crowd of customers suddenly rushed in, and our boss really couldn't take the hit, so he had no choice but to end the promotion early. It'd be one thing if they were paying customers, but the problem is everyone was eating for free. If this kept up, this new branch wouldn't survive, whether you look at it from the food costs or the strain on the staff. We just couldn't take it anymore. As for why a huge crowd had suddenly rushed in, well, that obviously had everything to do with my live stream. When I came for my free lunch at noon, only a few tables were taken, but after my popularity skyrocketed this afternoon, Boss Meng couldn't handle the pressure and had to pull the plug on the free event. Some customers who were solely there to leech a free meal left while cursing under their breath, but plenty of others still stayed to eat and pay. Boss Meng, who had been wearing a miserable scowl, instantly beamed with joy. Aside from my table, which was a bit of an eyesore for him, everything else was looking up. But the very next second, Boss Meng spotted a figure by the door that looked all too familiar. Wait, isn't that my daughter outside? Meng Wei spotted old Meng too. Old Meng was smiling as he started walking over to her. Meng Wei frantically began making eyes and faces at him, signaling him to stop, but old Meng pretended not to know her. Old Meng looked confused, but he went along with it anyway, seeing that a free dinner was out of the question, and Lan and Ji Mingchuan decided to leave, feeling frustrated. Right then, Meng Wei used the excuse of using the restroom to slip inside, giving old Meng another meaningful look as she entered. Once inside, Meng Wei took off the hidden filming equipment she was wearing. After turning it off, old Meng followed her in. What is wrong with you? You're acting so strange. Were those two people standing next to you your friends? Why didn't you invite them in to eat? You could have shown them how nice our family's new restaurant is. Meng Wei glanced outside the door to make sure no one was there. Once safe, she explained in a hushed voice, I'm participating in a variety show. We're live right now, so it's not. Once safe, she whispered, I'm participating in a variety show. We're live right now, so it's not convenient. A variety show. Meng Wei explained the whole situation about the show to old Meng from start to finish. Old Meng was left completely dumbfounded. So you and that kid outside who reported me are competitors on the same show? Yeah. Actually, when I first came over, I was hoping to see if there were any violations so I could report you too. Copy Fu Yansheng and score 20 free meals. But then I realized it was our own restaurant. Old Meng suddenly thought of something else and frowned. So you and those two other guests just wanted to use the free meal event to copy Fu Yansheng and report me. Meng Wei gave a guilty nod. Old Meng clutched his chest, feeling like his otherwise perfectly healthy self was about to have a sudden heart attack. What is this? Is everyone just lining up to milk me dry like a single helpless sheep? Meng Wei looked at old Meng with pleading eyes. Dad, the crew doesn't allow people we know to treat us. Why don't you run another free promo tomorrow? I really want some BBQ too. If I come eat during the event, it won't count as breaking the rules. I wasn't even craving it that much back at the dorms, but the moment I smelled the food here, I couldn't resist. Meng Wei swallowed hard. and added, plus, this will save me money on a meal. If I win, the grand prize is 5 million. Who knows, I might even get signed by an entertainment agency and become a major celebrity. Judging by our current foot traffic, going free would cost us a lot. But thinking of his daughter, Lao Meng gritted his teeth. Fine, I'll arrange another free event tomorrow. After sorting things out with Lao Meng, Meng Wei was just about to leave when she suddenly smiled. Oh, by the way, can you find a way to make Fu Yansheng break the rules and get disqualified? Because, oh, right. Can you find a way to get Fu Yansheng disqualified for a foul? Because with the compensation you gave him, the funds he has in the show right now have already left me far behind. It's just too hard to beat him. As long as he breaks a rule, he'll be kicked off the show. But you can't contact him openly, since it's a live broadcast. It's better to reach out privately. Well, wouldn't that be easy? Anyone participating in our shop's free event has to sign up for a membership and leave their contact info. She figured she'd head over to the counter in a bit, save Fu Yansheng's contact info to her phone, and then flirt with him aggressively. Once, she could report him. As Meng Wei walked out of the shop, her icy, razor-sharp gaze lingered on me for a long time as I ate my mutton hot pot before she finally left. That intense glare of hers. Is she about to cry from jealousy? Cry from jealousy, please. I think she wants to throw Fu Yansheng into the pot and cook him instead. To save money, Meng Wei had also walked all the way from the dorm. Having eaten nothing, she now had to head back the same way. Halfway back, she ended up starving and parched. Passing by a small diner, she stopped in her tracks. You really couldn't blame her. The savory aroma wafting out of the diner was simply irresistible. After hesitating over and over, she went inside and ordered a plate of fried rice and a bottle of soda. The netizens were utterly speechless. She couldn't bring herself to spend $2 on a bus ride. But on her way back, she ended up spending $12 on egg fried rice and a soda. Isn't that a total loss? Is this the legendary counterproductive penny pinching? Meanwhile, I walked back to the dorm after finishing my meal. I didn't see anyone else along the way. Either way, no matter what they're up to, tomorrow I can just check my phone to track their latest updates. That way, I can see if my ranking is under any threat. With that thought in mind, I went straight back to my room to rest. Recharging my batteries is the only way to be in top form for tomorrow's budget battle before going to sleep. I picked up my phone and went on a shopping spree across various apps and major brand websites. Half an hour later, a satisfied smile spread across my face. At the same time, the staff compiled the statistics for the 5 guests' remaining assets today and displayed them on the public screen. Budget battle first place Fu Yansheng, balance 984 RMB. Second place Feng Yue, balance 500 RMB. Third place and Lan, balance 488 RMB. Fourth place Meng Wei, balance 485.5 RMB. Fifth place Jiming Chuan, balance 264 RMB. At the Jiang Clan Interstellar Club, Shen Yining sat on the sofa looking down at his phone. Several wealthy socialites from his circle sat around him. Displayed on the phone screen was a text message he had sent a week ago. However, there was no reply from the other party. The next second, 2 text messages from an unknown number popped up. I am Lao Meng from Fuxiwan. I think you have a great look and aura. So a win-win business opportunity suddenly crossed my mind. Are you interested? I provide the funds, you provide the effort. Seeing this, Gu Nanji, who was nearby, noticed Shen Yining staring intensely at his phone with a complex expression, unable to contain his curiosity. And eager to dig up some juicy gossip on Shen Yining, he leaned in to sneak a peek. What? Has the Zhongjing Group fallen so low that CEO Shen has to sell himself to make a buck? Shen Yining glanced at him sideways, with a nonchalant smile. What do you think would happen if I told Uncle Gu that the precious porcelain vase in his study was actually replaced over a decade ago? It's been gone for over 10 years now, and the one sitting in the cabinet right now is a fake. I wonder if Uncle Gu would help me out as a thank you for the heads up. Then I wouldn't have to resort to selling myself. Instantly feeling viciously threatened, Gu Nanji felt a chill run down his spine, squeezing out a smile. That looked worse than crying, he squeaked. Look at you go. Come on, we're like family, don't be like that. Just tell me if you're in a tight spot, and I'll help you out. There's really no need to involve my old man. Shen Yining looked at him and said lazily, I just remembered. That vintage wine Anju was treasuring seems to have gone missing a long time ago too. You really are my boss, all right? You never take a loss, do you? Gunanji, driven by an intense survival instinct, complained in his head before switching to a serious tone. Are you really in trouble? Or did that person just text the wrong number? Well, whatever. No gossip from me then. Boss Meng had been worried about calling, knowing that it might be inconvenient to talk while filming the show, so he sent a text message instead. But as he sat on the toilet, staring at the message that remained unanswered, his brow furrowed deeply. It seemed this kid was quite cautious. He'd have to try a little harder. Early the next morning, yesterday's popularity poll results appeared on the public screen of the live stream room. Budget Battle Popularity Leaderboard: first place, Fu Yansheng; second place, Enlan; third place, Feng Yue; fourth place, Ji Mingchuan; fifth place, Meng Wei. The bullet chat exploded instantly. Holy crap, Fu Yansheng actually took first place. No way! Did he buy click farms to inflate his votes? Are these numbers for real? Isn't this rigged? How is this not normal? Out of everyone on this show, he and Meng Wei are definitely the most memorable so far. But I really don't want to vote for Meng Wei. I feel like that girl is way too sneaky. If Ji Mingchuan weren't so soft-hearted, I would have voted for him. After all, his looks are exactly my type. What a shame. I can understand everyone else. But how is that Feng Yu person still ranked third? She hasn't even shown her face. What gives her the right? It's mostly because she's so mysterious. I'm just burning with curiosity about her. That's why I want to vote for her popularity. Once the voting results came out, Neji's reactions were all over the place. Meanwhile, the guests were also online, scrolling through the popularity poll results. In the room at the very end of the third floor, I finished a quick wash-up and went downstairs to the kitchen to fry 2 eggs for breakfast. At noon, I headed out to Fuxiuan Hot Pot and BBQ again for some grilled skewers. The place wasn't as crowded this afternoon as it was yesterday. It's probably because Boss Meng canceled the promotion. Yesterday, however, I noticed that the riddle-solving event for a free meal at the storefront was hanging back up today. Not long after I arrived, Meng Wei showed up too. Only, Meng Wei was stopped at the door once again because he couldn't solve the riddle. Eating BBQ shouldn't require an IQ test. Can't old Meng just give himself an easier question, or at least sneak himself a little cheat sheet with the answers beforehand? After complaining furiously in his head, Meng Wei stood outside the door with a grim expression for nearly an hour. By the time I walked out full and satisfied, he hadn't even set foot inside. Now that's just awkward. It looks like using the back door isn't that easy after all. Standing at the doorstep of his own family business for the second time, and failing to get a single bite of food again, Meng Wei felt like he was on the verge of turning a villain arc. What was even more bizarre was everyone's account balances the next day. Surprisingly, nobody had spent a single dime. I had my eggs and a free meal pass, and Lan had her own wholesale instant noodles. Ji Mingchuan did the same. As for Meng Wei, he shamelessly mooched off Ji Mingchuan's instant noodles again. Ji Mingchuan did the same. As for Meng Wei, he shamelessly mooched off Ji Mingchuan's instant noodles again. As for the mysterious guest, Feng Yue, she still didn't show her face and didn't spend any money. Maintaining the exact same air of mystery as yesterday, compared to the first 4 guests' ordinary penny-pinching routines, Feng Yue's bizarre behavior instantly caught the Netai's attention. This Feng Yue is truly a legend, never leaves her room, never spends money. Is she going through a rough patch? Is nobody going to knock on her door? I'm a bit worried something happened to her in there. Is this woman inside her room, practicing some kind of forbidden, unorthodox martial arts? 68. This woman has successfully caught my attention. I'm casting my popularity vote for her tonight. People are always drawn to the unknown, filled with imagination and expectation. And so, on the 3rd day of the live broadcast, Feng Yue's popularity instantly shot up to number 2 on the charts, even showing signs of overtaking me. Not only were the netizens curious, but even I was highly intrigued. She never showed her face, didn't spend a single penny, and could endure it for this long. I'm afraid she might be a hidden, deeply scheming master of extreme cheapness. Low-profile people like this are usually the chosen ones. Or maybe she's plotting some big move to catch us completely off guard when the time comes. This definitely gave me a bit of a sense of crisis. However, in the dead of night, just when everyone was consumed by curiosity about Feng Yue, a faint, distant siren suddenly echoed outside the dorms. It sounded like an ambulance, and it was getting closer and closer, until I heard panicked footsteps downstairs. I quickly changed my clothes and rushed down, only to see paramedics carrying a stretcher out from the far end of the 2nd floor. Lying on the stretcher was a thin, tall girl. The room at the very end of the second floor seems to be Feng Ye's. I grabbed Lan, who was wearing pajamas. A tall girl. The room at the very end of the second floor seems to be Feng Ye's. I grabbed Lan, who was wearing pajamas, and hurriedly asked what happened, and Lan rubbed her temples, her voice filled with helplessness. This woman starved herself 9 times in 3 days. She literally fainted from hunger. 108, and Lan had actually just been curious. And Nan was really just curious at first, as to why there was no sound from Feng Yue for 3 whole days, which is why she went to knock. After getting no response for a long time, she worried something might have happened to Feng Yue, so she broke the door down. Only then did she find Feng Yue unconscious. She immediately called an ambulance. Well, alright then. What chosen one? What deeply scheming hidden master? I take back what I just thought. The paramedics loaded Feng Yue into the ambulance, turned around, and asked the other 4 guests, "Which of you is going to the hospital with her?" Going together means you'll have to cover the medical bills. When the ambulance first arrived, you could tell everyone was genuinely worried about Feng Yue. But the moment money was mentioned, they all just looked at one another and fell completely silent. Meng Wei turned his head to look at the assistant director standing behind the camera. "Shouldn't we ask the production team about this? If something happens during the show, isn't the team responsible?" 131. The assistant director frowned. The assistant director frowned. Before we started filming the show, everyone signed an agreement. Any issues caused by personal reasons during the show are entirely your own responsibility. 136. That's what the assistant director said on the surface. Or at least, that's what the assistant director said on the surface. But in reality, when the ambulance arrived, he had stopped the paramedics first and deliberately had them ask that question. Truth be told, whether the other 4 guests went along or not, Feng Yue would still be sent to the hospital. Right after the assistant director finished speaking, I ran back upstairs without saying a single word. The netizens instantly exploded. 3 of the guests chose to stay put, while the other guest chose to. Is Fu Yansheng running away because he's afraid that going to the hospital with Feng Yue means he'll have to help pay her medical bills? 148. Did he run away? So, did they run away? Is Fu Yansheng running away because he's afraid that going to the hospital with Feng Yue means he'll have to help pay her medical bills? So, he ran away. Figures. When money is on the line, people always show their ugliest side. Man, Fu Yansheng has really disappointed me. I'm never voting for Fu Yansheng on the popularity polls again. Never. From now on, I'm boycotting any show he's in. If I ever click into his stream again, I'm a dog. And Lan and Meng Wei stood completely still, neither of them saying a word. Ji Mingchuan actually really wanted to go step up, but he only had a little over $200 in his pocket, which wasn't nearly enough. He turned to Lan and Meng Wei and said, "Fu Yansheng isn't going. Why don't the 3 of us pool our money together and get Feng Yue to the hospital first?" Meng Wei shot him a sidelong glance, his teeth grinding in sheer irritation. If this guy wants to play the saint so bad, he should just go do it himself. Why is he dragging everyone else down with him? Unlike Meng Wei, and Lan didn't have a massive reaction. He remained quiet, keeping his composure. He maintained the exact same persona he'd had for the last 3 days of the stream, low-key, low-maintenance, and keeping a completely minimal presence on the sidelines. Seeing that neither of them was budging, Ji Mingchuan frowned. This is a matter of life and death. Is money really more important than someone's life? 27. Watching Lan and Meng Wei stay silent. Seeing that neither Lan nor Meng Wei was saying a word, Ji Mingchuan spoke up. Ji Mingchuan felt a surge of secret delight. He had definitely made the right move. In a group of people brought together solely to compete for a $5 million grand prize, how could anyone possibly be noble enough to easily give up that kind of life-changing money for someone else? 33. Their cold-blooded indifference would perfectly highlight his own kindness. Their cold-blooded indifference happened to be the perfect foil for his own kindness. Tonight's popularity rankings would definitely see him shoot up from 4th place to number 1, looking like he just couldn't stand their behavior any longer. Ji Mingchuan continued, his tone laced with heavy accusation. "You guys aren't seriously going to act just like Fu Yansheng, are you? Just like who? Talking trash behind my back again." Ji Mingchuan froze instantly. He turned around and saw me running downstairs completely out of breath. 44. I didn't have time to waste on him. I didn't have the time to deal with him. I rushed straight past and followed the paramedics right into the ambulance, leaving behind the other 3 contestants who were still processing what just happened. Wait, how is Fu Yansheng back? What did he run back to his room for earlier? Don't tell me. Did he run back to his room just to grab cash? If that's true, then what I just posted Man, don't let me get face slapped this fast. At the city hospital, after settling the bill, I folded the receipt neatly and tucked it into my jacket pocket. Then, I pulled up a stool next to the hospital bed and waited for Feng Yue to wake up. Luckily, we got her here just in time. It wasn't anything serious. A simple glucose IV drip would do the trick. About half an hour later, there was some movement on the bed, forcing my heavy eyelids open. I spoke up, my voice a bit raspy and tired from exhaustion. "You're awake. How are you feeling?" Feng Yue turned her head weakly to look at me. "I'm okay," she whispered. "Thank you for bringing me to the hospital." "Don't thank me." "And Lan was the one who noticed you passed out from hunger, and he called 911 to get the ambulance here. I just advanced the medical fees for you, that's all." Seeing that she was genuinely out of the woods, I calmly pulled the receipt out of my pocket. "Just remember to reimburse me for this later." I paused for a moment, then added with a mix of exasperation and amusement, "Starving yourself for 9 meals straight just to save 3 days worth of food money. 81 only to end up spending $250 on medical fees and an ambulance ride." In the end, the medical bills plus the ambulance fee came out to a grand total of $250. "You're really something else." I placed the receipt into her hand and let out a barely audible sigh. "The prize money is important, but your health matters more. Otherwise, if you win the prize money only to take out a loan for medical bills, 89, the math just doesn't add up. Then it really wouldn't be worth the trouble." Suddenly, Feng Yue's eyes welled with tears. To me, she looked like she was about to completely shatter. Why does this girl cry so easily? I have absolutely no idea how to comfort people, especially a girl this fragile. Feng Yue sniffled. "I've been alive for 20 years, and I never expected that the only person who actually cares about my health would be a total stranger like you." Looking at her with a complicated expression, I said, "To be honest, it's not even about the prize money. I was forced to join this show because they complained that I spend too much money at home. Figures, it's a family issue. This poor kid actually has it pretty rough." A wave of sympathy and pity washed over me. Seeing how miserable she looked, I quickly softened my voice to comfort her. "Look, spending a little money while living at home is totally normal." 108, Feng Yue felt it. She had finally found someone who truly understood her. She nodded eagerly in agreement. "Right. I only spend a few million a day topping up my video games. And when I have nothing else to do, I hit the clubs, buy some cars, or drop a few tens of millions on limited edition sneakers and stuff. But they still nag me about being reckless with my spending. That's why they forced me onto this show. Just to experience living on $500 for a whole month. They don't care at all about whether I'm doing well, or if I'm even happy." My jaw dropped. A few million, a few tens of millions. Is this what rich people call a little money? My brain completely short-circuited for a solid 10 seconds. "So, Miss Feng, you basically graced us with your royal presence just to experience how the other half lives. This girl doesn't lack family love and care. She lacks a reality check from the real world. My bad. I should never have empathized with a billionaire heiress, let alone try to comfort a princess." 132. He shouldn't be comforting the princess either, because right now, I feel like the real clown who just got hurt is me. I'm the one who actually needs comforting here. How am I, a guy who hesitates over spending a few bucks? 139 supposed to feel sorry. How is anyone supposed to feel sympathy for a princess who drops millions without blinking? I can't muster a single shred of sympathy. Not a single bit. While I was still trying to recover from the shock, I heard Feng Ye speak up again, looking a bit embarrassed. "So, big bro, since you see how miserable I am, can you give me a discount on this hospital bill? This $5 million prize money is really important to me. It's going to dictate my future status in the gaming world. So after all that running around in circles and playing the victim, she was just playing me the whole time. Are you trying to gain my sympathy? Just to skip out on your medical bills." His real goal is definitely winning that 5 million grand prize. Look at that fierce glare in his eyes. "I could break your bones right now, you know." Believe me, bro, a 50% discount works too. Look, I'm being completely honest with you. Why are you still playing mind games with me? Do you know what happened to the last guy who tried to scam me out of my money? Of course, Feng Yue knew. He had seen it online a long time ago. Wasn't it just a small barbecue joint owner who ended up having to compensate him with 10 free meals and $500? Although his family was incredibly strict when it came to limiting his personal finances, he had another way to make up for it. Looking at Fu Yansheng, Feng Yue blurted out immediately, "As long as you help me out this once, I'll introduce my aunt to you after the show's over." She's super rich. And she's also incredibly, I'll introduce my aunt to you. She's loaded. And she's stunningly beautiful. She's loaded and she's stunningly beautiful. He might not have achieved financial freedom himself yet, but he could always offer someone who had achieved it to Fu Yansheng as compensation. That way, it would be just like Fu Yansheng achieving financial freedom too. And once he was financially free, he would naturally be grateful to the matchmaker who made it happen, which meant he would never have to worry about his family cutting off his allowance ever again, because he could just team up with his new uncle-in-law, while the little calculator in Feng Yue's mind was clicking away furiously. I simply stared at him, completely unmoved. A flicker of disgust flashed in my eyes. I don't like women who come with nieces. How about this? You can wait until I inherit my family business, and then I'll compensate you, though you might have to wait a little while, since my old man is still in excellent health. But once I take over the business, I can buy you whatever you want. Forget a mere 5 million. Even 50 million wouldn't be an issue. I glanced at him sideways. Ha ha! Does your family run a bakery or something? Because you're incredibly professional at pie-in-the-sky promises. I stood up and walked right over to Feng Yu's side, looking down at him with a placid smile. You owe me every single penny of those medical bills. If you try to bite the hand that fed you, I wouldn't mind letting you stay in the hospital for a few more days. I didn't raise my voice, nor did I show any real emotion. It clearly didn't sound threatening at all. Yet for some reason Feng Yue suddenly felt a strange chill run down his spine, up close like this. He's actually really handsome. He's easily on par with those flawless, perfectly rendered male characters in video games. Feng Yue blinked and swiftly turned his head to the other side to avoid my gaze. Easily on par with those flawless male video game characters. Feng Yue blinked and swiftly turned his head to the other side to avoid my gaze. Alright, fine. The money is in my room. I'll give it to you as soon as we get back. I nodded with satisfaction. Don't try to get clever with me. I only care about the money. Meanwhile, the comments section completely exploded. Why does Fu Yansheng's line sound a bit like a kidnapper's demands, ha ha ha. Now, I honestly thought his next line was going to be, if I don't see the cash, I'm killing the hostage. This guy's goals are so clear-cut, completely unshakable. He literally only cares about money. Ha 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 ha. Is Feng Yue here just for comic relief? He literally sold out his own aunt for a shot at that 5 million prize. Who would have thought? In the end, it was actually the stingiest guy, Fu Yansheng, who paid for the medical bills. Hold on, did someone say a rich and beautiful aunt? Let me be the uncle-in-law. Once the IV drip was finished, I didn't take Feng Yue straight back to the dorm. Instead, I brought him to a nearby porridge shop. Standing at the counter, I noticed another customer swiping a membership card. Excuse me, are there any perks for signing up for a membership? If you sign up today, you'll get a $10 late-night voucher, but it can only be used after midnight. I checked the time on my phone. It was just past midnight. Guess luck was on my side. How do I sign up? You just need to load $100 onto the card. Oh, it requires a deposit. If it were free, that would have been fine. How do I sign up? You just need to load $100 onto the card. Oh, it requires a deposit. If it were free, that would have been fine. The main reason I brought Feng Yue here was because of his current physical condition. He needed to eat something healthy and nutritious. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered coming at all. Given my current financial situation, it really wasn't smart to be spending money every day on food that isn't even that filling. I ordered a bowl of porridge and a dish of steamed egg custard. After finishing our food, the two of us headed back to the dorm. Feng Yue handed over the medical bills and the cost of the meal to me down to the exact penny. Once I got back to my room, I neatly folded the $500 and put it back into my bag. The next morning, while boiling eggs, I made 2 extra ones for our recovering patient, Feng Yue. After all, when we were eating the steamed egg custard last night, this young master actually showed a bit of a conscience and voluntarily shared half of it with me. Not that I'd ever resort to stealing food from a sick person anyway, but because of those 2 boiled eggs, this spoiled little princess was incredibly moved all over again. He kept saying that besides Lan, I was the nicest person to him on this entire show. By the end of it, I felt like if I didn't stop him, he was about to offer his hand in marriage to repay the favor. I headed out as soon as I finished breakfast. Feng Yue quickly washed his face and silently tagged along right behind me, for no other reason than knowing that sticking with me meant he could definitely score free food. Suddenly, a guy dressed in a mascot costume stopped me. Hey man, do you have a quick second? Could you fill out a form? You can get a free bottle of water if you take a look. The corners of my lips curled up slightly. Sure. I took the form from his hands and gave it a quick scan. It looked like some kind of product feedback survey. Just as I was about to write, Feng Yue's voice suddenly came from behind me. I wouldn't fill that out if I were you. Giving up your information on these things makes it way too easy for your privacy to be compromised. You'll end up swamped with spam texts and harassing robocalls. Because once they gather all this data, they use it up and sell it off to third parties. They'll just sell it to someone else. I flashed a quick smile. It's fine. Feng Yue had a point. I knew exactly how these things worked. But it wasn't like I was putting down my actual information anyway. I was using a scammer's details. So what did I have to worry about? The phone numbers I left at the pharmacy and the barbecue joint earlier? They all belong to that same scammer. Every single one of them. A week ago, a text from an unknown number was flagged and blocked by the anti-fraud app I downloaded. The message read Zhongjing Group high-paying position executive assistant to the CEO. Easy workload. No educational requirements. Must be open to long-term overseas travel, etc. It even said to call back if I was interested. Zhongjing Group is a massive, incredibly famous enterprise in China. It's the kind of company my college classmates would break their necks trying to get into. I remember one of my peers who managed to get in right after graduation. Even though they were just contract staff, they couldn't stop bragging about it in our class group chat for ages. At first, I thought the anti-fraud app had made a mistake, so I went online and specifically looked up Zhongjing Group's HR department number. But when I called them, the HR rep explicitly stated they weren't hiring for that position at the moment. As for the mobile number that sent the text, it was absolutely not associated with their personnel department. The HR rep even kindly warned me that there are plenty of criminals out there nowadays who pose as company employees or platform staff to carry out scams. She told me to stay vigilant and protect myself from fraud. Even though I hadn't raised my expectations too high, I still felt a tiny bit disappointed. The netizens in the stream were getting anxious too. Feng Yue is totally right. You should never just hand over your phone number or personal info like that. Otherwise, your privacy gets totally exposed. Isn't this Fu Yansheng a bit too careless? Even after Feng Yue warned him like that, he still says it's fine. Even after such a direct warning, he still brushes it off as no big deal. You guys don't need to be so tense. Just download an anti-fraud app. It works like a charm. Well, you can't rely entirely on an app, can you? After all, automated screening algorithms are bound to slip up or miss things occasionally. Plus, some of these scammers are incredibly sophisticated. Ultimately, we need to raise our own awareness against fraud to stay safe. To be honest, the two of us had been walking for quite a while now. Feng Yue was getting a bit thirsty himself. He originally wanted to argue back, but the moment his eyes fell upon the neat rows of bottled mineral water, he glanced at the guy dressed in the mascot costume. Clearing his throat slightly, he murmured, listen, give me one of those forms. After handing the clipboard over to Feng Yue, the mascot guy turned to look at me and casually asked, "Are you two a couple?" The hand Feng Yue was using to write his name froze instantly, having never been in a relationship before, and being put on the spot by someone's slightly playful, teasing tone. His cheeks flushed bright red almost immediately. Without batting an eye, I calmly replied, "No, we're not." Meanwhile, back at the dorms, my unexpected actions from last night, which had caught everyone off guard, left the other three guests staying in the dorm, suffering from a severe bout of insomnia. Jiling Chuan never in a million years imagined that the storyline he had so meticulously planned would end up serving as nothing more than a stepping stone for me. On the fourth day of the live broadcast, I was once again the most popular contestant. On the flip side, Lan and Meng Wei were getting absolutely slaughtered by the netizens online. Lingchuan himself wasn't doing too badly, except the specific video clip where he tried to subtly mock me behind my back, kept being dragged up by netizens to ridicule him, calling it an instant face slap moment. Someone else who couldn't wrap his head around the situation was Meng Wei. He felt that I was far too calculating and manipulative. My actions last night were practically no different from taking the sole of a shoe and slapping all three of their faces with it right then and there. The comments online right now were undoubtedly completely one-sided, and the three of them had been thoroughly reduced to my malicious, pathetic foils. The three of them had been completely relegated to serving as my negative contrasts. We can't let things keep going on like this. I need to get old Meng to put some serious effort into tempting Fu Yansheng. On my end, after picking up the free mineral water, I headed over to the downtown area to take a stroll around. However, during the walk, Feng Yue, who had been trailing right behind me the whole time, suddenly vanished. But I didn't bother looking for him. He's a fully grown adult with a functioning brain. It's not like anything catastrophic could happen to him. More to the point, I'm under no obligation to babysit anyone else. We aren't even paired up as partners in the same group. We're rivals competing in an individual match. As I passed by a storefront, I lingered to take a few extra glances. Right after that, I pulled out my phone to note something down. Then, I made my way over to the Fuxi Yuan hot pot and barbecue joint. If I eat 2 more meals today, I'll only have 3 free meal vouchers left, which means I can survive until the day after tomorrow at noon. By noon on the 6th day of the live broadcast, my free meal vouchers had finally completely run out. The suffocating frustration that had been weighing heavily on old Meng's chest was finally lifted, because he finally didn't have to look at my face anymore. That very evening, deprived of any meal vouchers, I finished off the last 3 remaining eggs I had. Looking at the current situation, I've officially run out of ammunition and provisions. I've reached the point where I'll literally starve if I don't start spending money. Coincidentally, Lan's instant noodles had also just completely run out. She was now facing the grand dilemma of which flavor to choose for her next box of instant ramen. But no matter what flavor of instant noodles she picked, after eating them for 6 consecutive days, Lan was already completely, utterly sick of them. Meanwhile, Jiling Chuan's stash of instant noodles had long been entirely mooshed away by Meng Wei. He had to go out and buy another box, so he still had a little bit of food left for now.
As for Feng Yue,
when he wasn't holed up in his room, refusing to step outside, he would occasionally tag along with me to the supermarket to score some free
afternoon snacks.
At first, Feng Yue felt incredibly embarrassed about it. He kept looking left and right, acting entirely like a thief on a heist. But later on, well, he realized just how amazing free food tastes. It was a total turnaround when the production crew publicly revealed tonight's asset balance rankings. I was still firmly entrenched in first place. When the production crew publicly revealed tonight's asset balance rankings, I was still firmly holding down the top spot as the undisputed king of penny pinching. The morning of the 7th day of the live broadcast arrived. When the production crew announced tonight's asset balance rankings, I was still firmly holding on to the #1 spot as the ultimate budget king. On the morning of the 7th day of the live stream, the production team gathered the 5 guests. In the first floor lobby, the host Zhao Lin flashed a mischievous smile. Today, we are welcoming 5 heavyweight gold tier sponsors.
And these 5 sponsors
will be spending the day with you 5 guests, experiencing a penny-pinching lifestyle. Meng Wei raised his hand to ask a question.
I have a question.
If they're experiencing this penny-pinching life with us, are they going to bring their own money? That is an excellent question. Per the crew's rules, these 5 sponsors aren't allowed to carry a single cent on them, so all of their expenses today will be entirely covered by you.
Everyone yelled, "What?"
Life was already hard enough as it was, and now there were 5 more mouths to feed. Worse yet, these were 5 mouths they couldn't afford to offend. It was utterly, completely hopeless. Even the netizens in the comments were calling out the injustice. Wow, they really treat the audience like family, no filters at all. The crew is so shameless. Active commentary, isn't this just blatantly forcing the guests to carry 5 extra people? Active commentary, these 5 can barely even feed themselves. Active commentary, is the show trying to drive them into a corner? Active commentary, I knew a $5 million grand prize wouldn't be easy to win. Active commentary, I'm kind of curious. Active commentary, will Fu Yansheng be cheap enough to just take them along to mooch off free stuff? Active commentary, probably not. Active commentary, after all, these are big shots the guests can't afford to cross. Active commentary, they'll definitely have to cater to them. Active commentary, otherwise, if a sponsor gets upset and kicks them out of the show, they'll lose their chance at the prize money. Inviting the sponsors to come and experience a penny-pinching life with the guests was the director's latest trick. By having the sponsors join the guests to live on a budget, the director had upgraded the gameplay. Constantly throwing new obstacles at the guests was exactly what kept the show so entertaining. Seeing everyone look so completely defeated, Zhao Lin smiled and waved her hand. Come on, look a little happier. We're live right now, and the sponsors are watching. Besides, on other variety shows, plenty of guests beg for a chance to get close to the sponsors and never get it. You should feel honored. Meng Wei forced a fake smile. You just said it yourself, that's other variety shows. Can we even compare to them? Zhao Lin raised an eyebrow. What's the difference? Some shows don't give you a single cent for living expenses, leaving the guests entirely to their own devices to survive. We want to rely on our own devices. But your crew's rules won't let us trade our labor for profit. Using labor to make money is considered a rule violation. Zhao Lin's gaze swept over the 5 guests one by one. So, you'll have to rely on your own exclusive budget secrets to get by. Either way, the chance to win the prize money is right in front of you, whether you can pull it off. And how you do it depends entirely on your own skills. Right now, the guest with the least amount of money left was Jiming Chuan. He had a mere $222 to his name, but with the sponsors arriving, he really needed to put on a good show. Having remained quiet the whole time, I suddenly spoke up. So today, are we hosting the sponsors together? Of course not. You'll need to complete a task. Then, based on your ranking, you'll get to choose a sponsor for a one-on-one hosting session. That way, it's fair since you'll all be spending your own money. Active commentary, I bet. All the sponsors want to team up with Fu Yansheng. Active commentary, after all, everyone's assets are completely transparent. Who wouldn't want to spend the day with the richest guy on the block?
Active commentary. Oh, absolutely.
Fu Yan Sheng is basically the wealthy elite of this show right now. Active commentary, those 5 sponsors definitely want to be in Fu Yan Sheng's group so they can live large. Active commentary, that's not a guarantee. Fu Yan Sheng might be the richest guy on the show right now, but he actually has to be willing to spend that money. Active commentary, with how stingy he is, I'd say it's a toss-up. Zhao Lin pointed toward the entrance. The task is simple. Whoever grabs the card from the staff member first gets to pick first. The staff member holding the cards was standing just outside the dorm. The front door was wide open. The 5 guests followed the line of Zhao Lin's finger and looked over. It looked like a figure was standing about 100 meters away. Isn't this just a 100-meter sprint? If no one has any other questions, we can start right now. Except for Jiming Chuan, who bolted forward like a sprinter. The other 4 guests just casually strolled off the line. Was choosing a sponsor really worth competing over? Either way, it was just another mouth to feed. Why waste energy being so eager?
Meanwhile, sitting in the car.
Watching the live stream, the 5 sponsors muttered, aside from Jiming Chuan, is really no one going to fight for us? Even if you don't want to fight, at least don't look so repulsed. You could at least fake it and jog a little. This batch of guests is seriously impossible to manage. After we took a couple of unhurried casual steps. After taking a couple of unhurried steps, Zhao Lin suddenly remembered something. Oh, right. The top 3 finishers will receive hosting funds subsidized by the production team. Before anyone could even ask how much the production team's subsidy actually was, Zhao Lin and the viewers in the stream saw a sudden blur of motion. Several afterimages flashed across the screen in an instant.
Active commentary, ha ha ha.
This is killing me. Active commentary, money really makes the world go round for these 4, huh? Active commentary, 1 second they're strolling because they don't want an extra mouth to feed. Active commentary, and the next second they hear about free money and start sprinting so fast their shoes are catching fire.
Active commentary, ha 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 ha.
Active commentary, I am completely done with these trolls. Jiming Chuan never expected that despite getting the head start, he would actually be overtaken by the people behind him. He just felt a sudden gust of wind blast past him, and then he was left in the dust. What the hell just happened? All he felt was a sudden, sharp gust of wind sweeping past his side. And then he was left in the dust. What the hell is going on? Didn't they just say they weren't willing to fight for the chance to pick a sponsor? Didn't they just say they weren't willing to fight for the chance to pick a sponsor? In the end, Feng Yue took first place. I came in second, and Lan took third. Meng Wei was fourth, and Jiming Chuan finished fifth. Feng Yue caught her breath. She took a few long strides backward and handed the first-place card over to Zhao Lin. Zhao Lin accepted the card with a smile. Now you get to choose your sponsor. Exciting, isn't it? Now you get to choose your sponsor. Exciting, isn't it? But Feng Yue just slowly asked a completely different question. Where's the money? How much is it? Where's the money? How much is it? Geez, are you guys completely blinded by money? Zhao Lin pulled a bill out of her pocket. She handed Feng Yue the hosting funds provided by the production crew. Staring at the $5 in her hand, Feng Yue's excitement vanished instantly. Who on earth tries to host someone with just $5? Well, you can choose not to take it. Smiling, Zhao Lin started to reach out to take it back, but Feng Yue snatched it away in a flash. Smiling, Zhao Lin started to reach out to take it back, but Feng Yue snatched it away in a flash. $5 is still money, better than nothing. As the runner-up, I also received $5. I looked at the $5 bill in my hand, completely speechless. The words "the production crew is absolute trash" were practically written all over my face. Having received absolutely nothing, Meng Wei and Ji Mingchuan felt a bit bitter inside. Having received absolutely nothing, Meng Wei and Ji Mingchuan felt a bit bitter inside. The sponsors would be chosen by drawing lots. We would draw in the order of our recent victory. This segment made Ji Mingchuan feel a whole lot better. When the drawing finished and the results were announced, Ji Mingchuan felt like his luck had absolutely exploded because the card he drew bore the 4 words, Nanxing Entertainment. He was so thrilled he nearly burst into tears. Meanwhile, the card I drew was for Zhongjing Group. Inside the vehicle, prepared by the crew, Shen Yanning watched my results via the live broadcast. A faint, subtle smile played at the corners of her lips. A faint, subtle smile played at the corners of her lips. Meanwhile, the other 4 sponsors looked at Shen Yanning with a hint of sympathy in their eyes. Once all the guests finished drawing, the sponsors they were meant to host. All right, everyone, hurry up and get ready. Production crew will notify you when the sponsors arrive. The production crew will notify you when the sponsors arrive. The moment Zhao Lin finished speaking, Ji Mingchuan rushed upstairs. He went back to his room to give himself a major glow-up, although Meng Wei wasn't exactly thrilled about having an extra person to spend his money on. He changed his mind when he thought about it from another angle. His family was just ordinary nouveau riche. Having a chance to get to know big shots through the director was actually a great opportunity. He went back to his room, used a $2 bar of soap, and very solemnly washed his hair, compared to Ji Mingchuan and Meng Wei, who were preparing so solemnly to welcome their sponsors. The situation was entirely different for the others. Feng Ye, in Lan's state of mind, was completely relaxed. They went back to their rooms, crawled right under the covers and lay down to catch up on some sleep. They went back to their rooms, crawled right under the covers and lay down to catch up on some sleep, looking completely indifferent to whoever might come. They didn't show the slightest intention of welcoming a standard Chinese-style sponsor. And then there was me, our reigning king of penny pinching. I sat on the bed scrolling through my phone, looking incredibly busy, though nobody knew what I was actually busy with. When the sponsors arrived at the door and were escorted to the filming site by the staff went to notify the guests. In order to leave a spectacular first impression on the boss of Nanxing Entertainment, Ji Mingchuan rushed downstairs at top speed. Standing in the first floor lobby were 5 stunning women. He noticed one of them who was exceptionally tall, exuding an aura of pure nobility. This woman looks dangerous. I need to keep my distance from her. I hope to God she isn't the boss of Nanxing Entertainment, because she's honestly way too beautiful. If we spend too much time together, it might be hard to control myself. If things go wrong, instead of hitting the jackpot, I'll end up as cannon fodder, bringing a mountain of trouble upon myself. Ruining my future over a woman is definitely not worth the risk. While Ji Mingchuan was silently praying in his heart, the host, Zhao Lin, walked over to the first middle-aged woman on the left. There was a noticeably sycophantic edge to Zhao Lin's smile. She introduced her to Ji Mingchuan. This is Vice President Li of Nanxing Entertainment. The boss of Nanxing Entertainment had originally agreed to come personally, but for some reason, there was a last-minute change of plans, and the company's vice president was sent instead. Ji Mingchuan was already wildly ecstatic on the inside, but to avoid letting the executive think he was petty or lacked sophistication, he forced himself to look calm and put on a warm smile. Hello, VP Lai. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hello, VP Lai. It's a pleasure to meet you. Vice President Li looked at Ji Mingchuan with a smile. She seemed incredibly approachable, which instantly put Ji Mingchuan at ease. Have you had breakfast yet? No. The production crew mentioned that you guys would take care of us. Have you had breakfast yet? No. The production crew mentioned that you guys would take care of us. Ji Mingchuan instantly spotted a perfect opportunity to show off. Then, let me take you out for breakfast. As long as it's within my budget, order whatever you like. Production crew is seriously such trash. They aren't even providing breakfast for the sponsors. It looks like. Is Ji Mingchuan really going to empty out all his assets just to host his sponsor? Honestly, that sounds exactly like something he would do. Who is that woman in the middle? I need all her information within 3 minutes. And Lan and the others then came downstairs to pick up their sponsors. Meng Wei's sponsor was from a Fortune 500 company. Mr. Sun from Tiancheng Insurance. Ha 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 ha. Hello, I'm Meng Wei. Hello, I'm Xiao Cheng from Huafu Group. Are the people from Huafu Group always this humble? Why doesn't this guy act like a sponsor at all? Why doesn't this guy act like a sponsor at all? He should at least show a little bit of a sponsor's powerful aura. Compared to Xiao Cheng, Why do I feel like Lan looks more like the actual sponsor? Is it possible? That Xiaocheng is just exceptionally down to earth. That Xiaocheng is just exceptionally down to earth. The way Mengwei and Lan communicate with their respective groups is an absolute study in polar opposites. She furrowed her brow, keeping her voice down so only the two of them could hear. It's an absolute study in polar opposites, haha. She furrowed her brow, keeping her voice down so only the two of them could hear. Shen Yining glanced at her indifferently. What are you doing here? It suddenly hit her. Shen Yining had just recently taken over the operations of the Zhongjing group. None of your business. Auntie probably just wants to build up the company's image, and maybe boost her own profile along the way. That's why she made an exception to show her face on camera. Auntie, aren't you paired up with that Fu Yansheng? Do me a favor, will you? Don't make things hard on him. And please, look out for him a little. He's been really good to me on this show. During the first couple of days, he didn't just cover my medical expenses. He even went out of his way to boil eggs for me to eat. Oh, right. Whatever you do, absolutely do not tell him you're my aunt. Why? Because he doesn't like you. Shen Yanning raised her cold, sharp brows slightly. I don't think I've done anything to cross him. Explain. He said he doesn't like women who have nieces. Is it possible that the emphasis of that sentence was on the word niece? She could only listen as her aunt. Use that crystal-clear, chilly voice to deliver an even more ruthless, heart-stabbing blow. If that's the case, I can easily become a woman who doesn't have a niece right now, because I'm not exactly thrilled about having a niece who manages to go hungry 9 times in 3 days. It's too embarrassing. But she understood the hidden meaning behind Shen Yining's words perfectly. Auntie really thinks she's a total embarrassment and wants to completely disown her. How can this woman be so utterly heartless? We share the same blood, for crying out loud. How can she just throw me away like that? Feng Yu shot back. I wasn't just stupidly starving myself. I was pushing back against you guys. I wanted to make all of you realize that I will never admit defeat. Shen Yanning glanced at her and spoke in a leisurely tone. Only children use hunger strikes. To prove how much they matter, Feng Yu fell silent, for a moment completely at a loss for words. Just then, Meng Wei, who had been standing off to the side, suddenly walked over. Hello, I'm Meng Wei. These sponsors are all incredibly powerful corporations. If she hadn't participated in this show, she probably wouldn't have had a single chance in her entire life to cross paths with people of this caliber. Whether she could form a lasting connection or not, she needed to get on this big shot's radar first. Besides, when she was coming downstairs just now, she had already secretly sized up these sponsors. The woman standing right in front of her, regardless of appearance, aura, or attire, clearly possessed a far more commanding presence than the other sponsors. Naturally, she had to take the initiative and seize the opportunity as Meng Wei spoke. She extended her hand, intending to shake Shen Yining's hand. Shen Yining's gaze landed squarely on Meng Wei. She didn't reach out to return the gesture. Instead, she simply stared at Meng Wei without saying a word. For no apparent reason, Meng Wei felt a wave of fear and nervousness wash over her. She suddenly felt a pang of regret for taking the initiative to come over and say hello. After a few seconds, while Meng Wei was still tightly gripped by anxiety, Shen Yining spoke up with total nonchalance, breaking the tense silence. I know you. You're that woman who wanted to eat eggs but refused to buy them. So you tried to freeload off the other male guests, right? Meng Wei blushed furiously. The netizens erupted in laughter. This beautiful sponsor really knows how to choose her words. This is killing me. She is literally my spokesperson. Because that is exactly what I've been wanting to say to Meng Wei's face this entire time. This woman is pretty interesting. I love people who call out others so openly and righteously. After Shen Yining finished speaking, she still showed absolutely no intention of shaking hands. Meng Wei let out a dry, forced laugh. Her fingers curled slightly in midair before she awkwardly pulled her hand back. No, you must have misunderstood. I'm really not that kind of person. Seeing that Shen Yining clearly didn't think much of her, Meng Wei stopped making a fool of herself. She forced out a couple of polite, superficial remarks and then took her sponsor out to have breakfast. The moment she stepped outside the dorm, Meng Wei, feeling like she had lost face, couldn't help but complain bitterly. So what if you have a little bit of dirty money? Who do you think you are, putting on airs like that? Just wait until I hit it big. I will definitely pay you back double for the humiliation I suffered today. And Lan didn't follow Meng Wei's example. By stepping forward to flatter Shen Yining, after exchanging greetings with Xiao Cheng, she turned around and led him upstairs. She walked ahead and Xiao Cheng followed closely behind her, matching her step for step. The netizens began throwing out all kinds of theories. If I didn't already know Xiao Cheng was a sponsor, I would genuinely think this was Miss Anne and her personal butler. To be honest, why do I get the feeling that the most mysterious guest here is actually Lan? She feels so incredibly low-key. Even though she doesn't have a massive presence on the show, knowing how this production crew operates, there's absolutely no way they would keep a useless person on the roster. I agree completely. The stingy Fu Yansheng, freeloading Meng Wei, Feng Yu who starves 9 times in 3 days,
And the overly righteous Ji Mingchuan.
every single one of them is a handful when taken individually. And Lan is the only exception. She behaves so normally and seems so ordinary here, which actually makes her stand out as the strangest one. When the production crew scouts for guests, there's no way they would pick a plain, ordinary person with no unique traits. That would completely drain the show of any dramatic tension. True, but I'm leaning more toward the theory that all 5 of them are just actors hired by the show. The sponsor Feng Yi had to entertain was Chairman Fang of the Axa Group. Chairman Fang carried a thoroughly solemn expression. All 5 of them are actors hired by the production crew. The sponsor Feng Yi needs to entertain. Is Chairman Fang of the Axa Group? Chairman Fang looked dead serious. He certainly has that commanding air of a big boss.
Xiao Yu.
Let's go grab some breakfast together. He spoke in a completely dictatorial tone, like he was ordering a subordinate around. After throwing those words out, he spun around and left. He didn't even spare Feng Yu a single glance. He practically had his nose turned up to the sky. Feng Yu stared at Director Fang's retreating back. It left a thoroughly bitter taste in his mouth. Shh! Who does he think he is? Is a young lady like her someone to be ordered around at the whim of others? The ridiculous part is that this so-called Director Fang is about to spend her own hard-earned money. Who is he trying to lord it over? I'm definitely not putting up with this. Feng Yue couldn't care less about whether she would offend the sponsor or not. She turned right back around, went upstairs, and went back to sleep. After taking a few steps, Director Fang noticed that Feng Yue wasn't following behind him. He had no choice but to retrace his steps, but after walking a few more steps, and realizing there was still no sign of Feng Yue behind him, he was forced to turn back yet again. But during the walk back, his expression turned incredibly dark. Left with no alternative, Director Fang had to head upstairs to find Feng Yue down in the first-floor lobby. Shen Yining was suddenly left standing there, temporarily unclaimed. Everyone else had been picked up. He was the only one left standing there, watching. He suddenly looked rather pitiful, all solitary and forsaken. Worried that Shen Yining might be upset, Zhao Lin immediately spoke up. I'll go upstairs right away to hurry the guest along. No need. Before the words could fully leave her mouth, a slender silhouette came walking down the stairs. Catching sight of that graceful figure standing in the lobby, I walked straight over. I proactively extended my hand. Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Fu Yansheng. A relaxed smile graced the corners of Shen Yining's lips as he slowly raised his hand. His pale, delicate fingers lightly rested against my sharply defined knuckles. Shen Yining, can we head upstairs to chat for a moment? Of course. The netizens watching the stream erupted into a frenzy. Is that really the big boss of Zhongjing Group? Wow, she's drop-dead gorgeous. No wonder so many people fight tooth and nail every year just to squeeze their way into Zhongjing Group. With a boss like that, coming to work every day would instantly put anyone in a great mood. Am I the only one who feels like the way Shen Yining treats? Fu Yansheng versus Meng Wei is literally night and day. I led Shen Yining up to the 3rd floor
And into my own room.
There were no live stream cameras inside the room. Just as Shen Yining followed me inside, and before he even had a chance to look around my room, I immediately spun around and shut the door tightly. Shen Yining turned to look at me, raising an eyebrow slightly. It was as if he was silently asking what I was up to. I leaned lazily against the doorframe, with both hands shoved into my pockets. You don't seriously have a single penny on you, do you? Is that really what you brought me in here to ask? Yeah, after all, he is the show's big sponsor. Could he really be completely penniless? You brought me in just to ask that, yeah? He's the main sponsor of the entire show. I find it hard to believe the production crew would have the sheer audacity to confiscate all the money from their own sponsor and force him to drag along with us, without even a decent meal to eat. Shen Yining tilted his head and let out a soft chuckle. Then, he casually spread his hands open, his dark eyes locking onto my gaze. If you don't believe me, feel free to frisk me. The next second, he added in a slow, deliberate tone, whatever you find is yours. 85. Seeing Shen Yining with his arms casually spread out like that, Shen Yining casually stretched out both her arms. That tiny glimmer of hope I was clinging to, completely shattered in an instant. Sigh. Originally, I was hoping to score some cash off the sponsor. After all, in this entire show, the sponsor holds the highest status. Who would have thought that even the sponsor wouldn't get a VIP pass to cheat the game rules? Now I really can only rely on myself. My heart feels utterly frozen. Well, no need for a search.
I trust you, President Shen.
Shen Yining gave a slight nod. In that case, if there's nothing else, I'll go head outside and wait for you. All right. Just wait for me downstairs in the lobby for a moment. I'll be ready in a flash. I was so busy filling out that application form just now that I haven't even washed my face yet. No rush. Then, Shen Yining's crimson lips parted slightly, as if he wanted to say something more. 105, but after a 2-second pause, 2 seconds passed. He ultimately decided against it. I stepped aside and opened the door, making way for Shen Yining. However, just as Shen Yining brushed past me, he abruptly halted his steps. A boy needs to learn how to protect himself. Don't just let other women into your room so easily in the future. After dropping those words, he walked right out. I turned my head to watch his retreating figure, completely speechless. It hasn't even been 3 minutes. President Shen is out already. What on earth did they do in that room? Is there anything said in there that we, the elite VIP members, aren't allowed to hear? 119. I actually thought Fu Yansheng was trying to seduce him. And here I thought Fu Yansheng was trying to ravish me. Who would have guessed that the Grand President Shen would walk out completely unscathed? Ha ha ha, to the person above. You must be new here, right? As a veteran fan, let me tell you, knowing Fu Yansheng's personality, seduction is absolutely out of the question. He'd only be after his money. If you ask me, Fu Yansheng definitely wanted to charm the sponsor, hoping to use the back door to take first place. After all, that's the big boss of Zhongjing Group we're talking about. Any ordinary person would have started sucking up to her ages ago. It's not that I don't want to suck up to anyone. In fact, I genuinely look forward to working at Zhongjing Group one day. But kissing up to someone is never that simple. For one, I don't have the money to buy gifts for the bosses. And secondly, relying purely on sweet talk without real capability gets you nowhere. Besides, a big boss wouldn't have the time to sit around and give him a chance to show off his skills anyway. And it's even more impossible for me to sell my body to seduce someone, because the whole point of me working so hard to make money is to give myself and the people who love me a better life. It's certainly not to degrade myself and cause the people close to me to worry and feel miserable. Therefore, it's far more realistic to keep my feet on the ground and grab that 5 million right in front of me. That's much more tangible. After a quick wash, I walked down to the first floor and looked at Shen Yining, who was sitting gracefully on the sofa.
Have you eaten breakfast yet?
If you don't have plans, why don't we go together? Seeing he didn't say no, Shen Yining stood up and followed right behind me. I honestly had no idea what kind of food I could even treat him to. To be fair, he was feeling pretty anxious and uncertain. The netizens watching the live stream were also breaking into a cold sweat for Shen Yining. After all, the places I usually frequent really put one's thick skin and psychological resilience to the test. If your skin isn't thick enough, and your mental strength isn't up to par, there's no way you can scrounge up a meal with me. The two of us walked for about 20 minutes before we finally reached our destination. It was a newly opened breakfast joint. Across the large glass windows of the shop, there was a big sign for the grand opening. Free porridge was written in bold, eye-catching letters. Seeing the two of us standing at the entrance, the proprietress, rag still in hand from wiping down a table, immediately called out to us with a warm, enthusiastic wave. Hey there, handsome guy and gorgeous lady, come on in. Don't just stand out there looking. Come inside and see what you'd like to eat. Come on in. Walking inside with absolute composure, I flashed a sweet, innocent smile. Sis, I saw the sign outside saying the porridge is free. If every single customer who comes in only eats the porridge, wouldn't you end up losing a ton of money? The proprietress's gaze sized the two of us up for a moment. Oh, that's nothing. Since our shop dared to run this promotion, we aren't afraid of people eating as much as they want. Knock yourselves out, eat to your heart's content. I beamed with a brilliant smile. Sis, you're so incredibly generous. And you're so beautiful too. Flattered by the compliment, the proprietress grinned from ear to ear, unable to wipe the smile off her face. She quickly started leading me toward the self-serve food station. We can manage on our own. Go ahead and tend to your work, sis, the proprietress thought to herself. This young man keeps calling me sis. What a sweet talker, and so polite too. The moment her back was turned, I didn't grab a single side dish. Instead, I turned around to scan the room for the porridge station. Once I spotted it, I led Shen Yining over. This place actually had a pretty solid selection of porridge, vegetable porridge, preserved egg and pork porridge, millet porridge, shredded chicken porridge. There were 6 or 7 different varieties for us to choose from. I turned around and smiled at Shen Yining. President Shen, look at this. This entire section is the empire I have conquered for you. Take your pick.
I'm paying.
I certainly put on a grand display of hospitality. Shen Yining let out a faint chuckle. I'll have the vegetable porridge. You got it. You got it. I ladled out a bowl of vegetable porridge for him, right after I handed it over. I noticed his gaze drifting toward the other cooked dishes and sides. I immediately set my porridge down, then manually grabbed his head and forced it right back around. President Shen, that part of the empire is off limits, because yours truly is currently flat broke, so I haven't conquered that territory yet. You'll just have to make do with this for now. Flat broke is an understatement. If the two of them really just sit there, stuffing their faces with free porridge without ordering a single dish, I'm going to feel embarrassed for them. What's there to be embarrassed about? Fu Yansheng has over 900 bucks in his pocket right now, but he refuses to spend a single penny on President Shen. This cheapskate. Ha ha ha. I am seriously going to die laughing because of Fu Yansheng. Poor President Shen. Ha ha ha. He's stuck drinking porridge without even a side dish. I knew it. I just knew a stingy guy like Fu Yansheng would absolutely refuse to spend a single dime even if the other person is his sponsor. Ha ha ha. The porridge is free anyway, and it's unlimited refills. You can drink as much as you want. I had personally confirmed this with the proprietress the second I stepped into the shop. Their blatant display of consuming only the free porridge without ordering any sides quickly drew some rather odd judgmental stares from the surrounding customers. My psychological resilience is top tier, so I didn't really care what others thought. They said the porridge is free. They never said we had to buy anything else. Besides, if I weren't trying to win that prize money, I wouldn't want to just bloat myself on porridge without a single side dish either. I took 2 sips of the preserved egg and pork porridge in front of me and looked up at Shen Yining, who was sitting across from me. I was a bit worried that this high and mighty CEO wouldn't be used to this kind of freeloading behavior. To my surprise, he was perfectly calm. His movements were unhurried, and his table manners were incredibly refined, as if he were dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant. He was just so elegant, looking like he was at a Michelin-starred restaurant. But while everyone else's tables were loaded with sides, savory pies and shrimp dumplings, looking incredibly lavish, our table was completely bare save for 2 bowls of porridge. No matter how calm, composed, and elegant we appeared, the stark contrast made us look borderline pathetic. My brain is already automatically playing a tragic erhu solo for the two of them. President Shen was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I bet he's never eaten a meal this pitiful in his entire life. When the proprietress realized that Fu Yansheng and Shen Yining were genuinely only eating the free porridge and weren't going to order any sides, she was instantly dumbfounded. Even though there were no side dishes, thankfully the porridge itself was perfectly seasoned and quite tasty. By the time I finished my 3rd bowl, I was finally full. I stood up, walked over to the proprietress, and asked with a smile, "Sis, will this promotion still be going on tomorrow? When does it end?" "It ends this Wednesday. There are still 2 days left." After answering, the proprietress couldn't help but cast a curious glance toward the table where the man drinking porridge sat. "Young man, is that your girlfriend?" "No, he's my boss." The proprietress suddenly had an epiphany. "Ah, no wonder," she thought to herself. "So that's his boss. Well, that explains the incredibly stingy behavior. This porridge shop is only open in the morning. Otherwise, I would have gladly sat here all day. It has air conditioning, free food, keeps you full, and it's not exhausting." Shen Yining didn't eat nearly as much as I did. He only had a single bowl, but he ate at a very slow, measured pace. Once he finished, I frowned slightly. "You're only having 1 bowl. Are you actually full?" "Yes, I'm full." He's actually a very picky eater. He barely touches anything that doesn't suit his palate. He barely touches anything that doesn't suit his taste. But today, he was taking this bowl of porridge. He's actually a pretty picky eater. If something doesn't suit his taste, he barely touches it. But if he didn't eat this bowl of porridge today, he was worried that for the next 2 meals, he might end up having to eat something even harder for him to stomach. He hadn't come on this show to live in luxury anyway. Shen Yining had prepared himself mentally before coming, but he realized he still hadn't prepared enough. Once breakfast was over, I dragged him all over the place, wandering from spot to spot. Under the guise of showing him warm hospitality, I took him to a park, the gates of a kindergarten. a shopping mall, and various other public venues. Score free bottles of mineral water, face masks, snacks, and facial sheets. Then, when lunchtime finally rolled around, I actually took him out for afternoon tea instead. Was lunch just casually canceled like that? I'll treat you to a massive feast tonight. Seriously. I looked at him with absolute sincerity. I promise. Shen Yining didn't hold a grudge about it either. His lips curled into a slight smile, looking incredibly easygoing. Sure, when Shen Yining smiled like that, he looked way better than when he kept a straight face. It made him feel a lot more approachable. They say a beautiful face can feed the soul, but when you're actually starving, good looks won't do a damn thing. Even through the screen, I can practically feel President Shen's utter despair. What kind of life is President Shen living right now? If Fu Yansheng can handle it, great. If not, he just has to suck it up. President Shen is seriously so unlucky, getting paired up with a cheapskate like Fu Yansheng. You should see the other guests. They're taking their sponsors out and eating like kings. All this flash and glamour is just temporary. It all comes down to whoever walks away with the 5 million in the end. The prize money is what really matters. This so-called afternoon tea was just hitting up supermarket free samples of fruits and desserts. I arrived pretty late today because it was a long walk from the park over to this area. By the time we got here, there wasn't much fruit or dessert left. I stared down at the only 3 orange segments left. It was a long walk from the park over to this area. By the time we got here, there wasn't much fruit or dessert left. I stared down at the only 3 orange segments left, lying there looking completely pathetic on the fruit platter, with an incredibly heavy heart. I picked up a couple of fresh toothpicks from the side. First, I handed one to Shen Yining, and then I grabbed one for myself so we could just tide ourselves over. I will absolutely treat you to a massive feast tonight. You have to trust me. Then, I speared half an orange segment and popped it into my mouth. The burst of sweet, plump juice exploded between my teeth. Starving as I was, I instantly felt like this was the greatest delicacy on earth. Today's oranges are so sweet. Quick, try one. Under my intense gaze, Shen Yining used his long, slender fingers to pierce an orange segment with his toothpick. And my eyes followed that orange segment, tracking its every move longingly. But it was like Shen Yining was doing it on purpose, moving in absolute slow motion, showing zero urgency to eat it. I quietly swallowed a mouthful of spit, my eyes fixed on that orange like a starving wolf. You know, President Shen, if you hadn't come today, all 3 of these orange segments would have been mine. But even though I'm this hungry, I'm still willing to split them in half with you. Can you feel the pure sincerity of my hospitality? Shen Yining let out a low chuckle. I feel it. Good, as long as you feel it. When it comes to hosting people, sincerity is what matters most. As long as the sincerity is there, you're good. Nothing else matters. And then Shen Yining watched as the orange segment in his hand and the final piece remaining on the platter vanished into thin air. I didn't leave him a single bite. I was just so incredibly hungry. Otherwise, I wouldn't have snatched that piece right out of his hand. The sponsors only have to experience this penniless life for a single day, but we have to live like this for another 24 days. Once the cameras stop rolling tonight, Shen Yining can go right back home to feast on delicacies and recover. Meanwhile, I might still be living meal to meal starving. So I'll just have to let our sponsor suffer a tiny bit for now. Shen Yining lowered his eyes, staring at the completely clean toothpick in his hand. It was as if the piece of orange on it a second ago was nothing more than a hallucination, brought on by his hunger. After finishing the orange, I tossed my toothpick into the trash. I looked up at Shen Yining with a bright smile. President Shen, just hang in there a little longer. I promise I'll treat you to a massive feast tonight. Meat, veggies, whatever you want, it's on me. I guarantee you'll leave stuffed. I'm just so hungry. So, I'm really sorry, President Shen. Missing this one meal is just a minor blip for you. But I'm someone who has to fight for survival every single day. I hope you don't come back next time. Shen Yining looked at my deadpan expression. Let's hope so, President Shen. Wait, what just happened? Where did my orange go? Welcome to the massive fantasy blockbuster starring Fu Yansheng and President Shen of the Zhongjing Group, The Vanishing Orange. 60 years from now, a white-haired President Shen will be sitting in his rocking chair taking his grandkids down memory lane. Kids, back then, your grandpa didn't even get to eat lunch. If I wanted potato chips, I could only eat the crumbs. If I wanted fruit, I could only chew on a toothpick. Fu Yansheng is seriously cheap to the absolute extreme, stealing food right out of the sponsor's hands. The sheer audacity. And President Shen isn't even mad. His emotional control is insane. Commenter 6. I'm going to check out the other sponsors to see how they're living.
I want to see if President Shen
Is truly the most miserable sponsor out of all of them. Driven by pure curiosity, a massive wave of netizens migrated over to the live streams of the other guests, just to run a quick comparison and see exactly how brutal President Shen had it, and just how incredibly stingy this king of cheapskates really was. The netizens' first stop for comparison was Ji Mingchuan's live stream. Inside a high-end, elegant cafe, Ji Mingchuan and Vice President Li of Nanxing Entertainment were seated.
Mingchuan's live stream room?
Inside a rather high-end looking casual diner, Ji Mingchuan and Vice President Li of Nanxing Entertainment. He sits on the sofa, enjoying a beef combo meal worth 58 yuan. Totaling up their expenses, the two of them spent 116 yuan on that meal. This morning, Ji Mingchuan also took Vice President Li out for beef noodles, which cost 36 yuan in total. Now he has only 70 yuan left. Ji Mingchuan looks at the bowl of beef in front of him and silently swallows his saliva. Then, he pushes the bowl of beef to Vice President Li. Mr. Li, please make do with this for now. Once I'm done with the show, I'll definitely treat you to a proper fancy meal when I get the chance. After all, his current budget only allows him to show this much hospitality. Vice President Li smiles and pushes the beef back to him. It's fine. Go ahead and eat. There will be plenty of chances in the future. Ji Mingchuan's eyes light up instantly. Pushing his own portion of beef to Vice President Li wasn't just to show sincerity. The real punchline of his hospitality lay in that last sentence. If luck is on my side, before Vice President Li leaves tonight, I might actually get his personal contact info. Oh, Ji Mingchuan, you've only got 70 bucks left. How on earth are you going to survive the next 20-odd days? You're seriously infuriating me. Get a grip and show some spine, will you? Every time I watch him, it feels like my sanity takes a massive hit. This is too sweet, isn't it? Is it really necessary to give all your beef to the sponsor? Why don't you just starve yourself and feed them everything? But compared to Fu Yansheng's side, Fu Yansheng is way too stingy. Xiao Shen is so pitiful. Let's go, next station. The next station that netizens are comparing is the second station, Manhwa.
Next station.
Netizens compare the second station, Manhwa's live stream room. Manhwa invited General Manager Sun of Tiancheng Insurance Company to an authentic little local restaurant. The environment is decent, and the prices are cheap and affordable. Mr. Sun, should we grab a drink? Let's skip it. It's not really appropriate during work hours. Manhwa smiles and agrees, handing the menu beside him to Mr. Pavt. Sun. Fair point, Mr. Sun. Please take a look and order whatever you like. My treat. Manager Sun ordered 2 cheap, budget-friendly dishes that go well with rice, braised eggplant strips, and stir-fried tomato and eggs. The smile on Manhwa's face grows even wider. The dishes Mr. Sun ordered really saved me a ton of money. Plus, Mr. Sun doesn't even drink. This is ridiculously budget-friendly. Mr. Sun is a great guy, definitely worth befriending. Just as Manhwa thinks this, Mr. Sun, who has just finished ordering, suddenly speaks up. Have you ever looked into insurance before? Manhwa has never looked into that kind of stuff. It's not like he buys it. But since Mr. Sun asked, he has to show some respect. A little bit, but not much. Has anyone in your family ever bought insurance? I think my dad bought car insurance. What about life insurance?
I don't think so.
Mr. Sun says in a casual conversational tone. Life insurance is actually very important these days, especially accident insurance.
And medical insurance.
Not only can they reimburse many daily medications and outpatient costs, but also hospitalization and other expenses. It can take a huge burden off your family's shoulders. And the insurance market is doing great right now. Taking a huge burden off. And the insurance market is doing great right now, with very high reimbursement limits. Just take our company, for instance. A couple of days ago, a female client with late-stage cancer spent a fortune on hospital treatments. Her family blew through all their savings. But luckily, she happened to have bought insurance from our Tiancheng. Our company directly delivered 300,000 yuan in cash, right to the hospital. Her family was absolutely thrilled at the time. 300,000 in cash. Hearing this, Manhwa is actually tempted. How do I buy this stuff?
Jot down a phone number.
This is our department manager. He will customize the most comprehensive and suitable policy for you, based on your situation. Manhwa immediately pulls out his phone to note down the number. Why do I feel like I was just forced to watch a commercial? Mr. Sun is totally here to advertise and reel in clients on the side, isn't he? Oh my god! This is the first time I've seen Manhwa, who usually freeloads off guests, willingly spend money on someone else. This is truly a rare sight. It's over. I think Manhwa has been completely brainwashed. Don't tell me Manhwa is actually going to spend money on insurance. He doesn't even have any money on him right now. Let's go check out Miss Anne and her Xiao Cheng instead. Next up is the third station that netizens are comparing, and Lan's live stream room. And Lan and Xiao Cheng from the Huafu group didn't even go out. They are currently eating instant noodles in the dorm, just moments ago. And Lan went to the supermarket to buy a whole case of instant noodles wholesale. She was actually sick to death of instant noodles and wanted to buy some groceries to cook for herself. It's cheap, affordable, and healthy. But then she remembered her tragic, utterly disastrous cooking skills. Eating instant noodles is fine too. And Lan actually invited a sponsor to eat this. Is that really okay? What's wrong with it? Just be grateful. Xiao Shen from the Zhongjing group next door hasn't even had a single bite to eat yet, hahaha.